Hey everybody, it's me, Mia Fran again. Welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Usano Podcast, the only fan-made or internationally fan-made Usano Prince Sama podcast, at least that I know of, that exists. So, today, guys, we are going to be, excuse me. We are going to be finishing the rest of the greatest Utapri fanfic that's ever been written in the history of the world. That's going to be Utapri The Next Generation by rainediamond on fanfiction.net. So, we stopped at chapter 8. So, chapter 8 ended on a cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger was that Cecil's mother appears. And so we got to see her at the very end. So that's going to reveal some stuff, I assume. We also had, again, this fanfic takes place where Haruka is now pregnant with at least one child for each guy at the same time. So, yeah, that's what's happening, and we're gonna see how this ends. So we're gonna finish this fanfic, and if I do finish under 2 hours, I'm just gonna end the podcast there because I'm tired, and I want to get things ready for the next episode. Hopefully, we can maybe talk about one of the live shows. Maybe I can give myself some time to do that. One of the stage shows we can have guests back on here again. We'll see. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start reading. So here we go. So chapter 9 is called Surprise. Author's note, another new chapter. I think this is the most chapters I've ever written for a story before. Please read and review. Thanks to all my followers and reviewers. Sorry for the wait, but standardized testing takes time out of people's lives, so I assume. rainediamond, the author, was reading some reading. Excuse me. I think they were standardized testing. Obviously, they were writing while they're doing school. Okay, let's actually read. All right. When the beautiful woman spotted Shining, a flicker of recognition flashed in her startled eyes. One dainty hand raised to her mouth as she gasped, her pink lips forming an O. The shorter but older man beside her looked at Shining as well, his deep chocolate brown eyes taking in the equally imposing man that currently occupied his wife's attention. Oh shit, that's fucking Cecil's dad too, shit, oh my god. Mitsuo? The woman asked. Her voice was silky and soft. Sorry, I didn't read it as silky and soft as I probably should have, as she addressed Shining over her son's shoulder. Her teal silk gown made a light swishing sound as she disengaged from her son and approached the familiar producer. Shining continued gaping before he could form words. I don't know if that's, like, the best word. Anyway. But you're dead. You died. I saw the plane crash. I don't think I could do a Shining Satsume impression of him, like, being shocked or, like... Because he's never sounded like that on the show before, so it's kind of hard. I saw the plane crash. You can't be alive, Kotomi. His booming voice broke on the last word as Shining fell to his knees on the hard marble floor, not sure what to think anymore. Kotomi shook her head slowly. No, I'm alive. 22 years ago, I woke up in a desert, surrounded by wreckage with no memory of who I was. The only reason I even knew my own name was the travel badge pinned to my jacket. I wandered through the desert until I stumbled across a gleaming city. The music drifting across the scorching sands had brought me to a beautiful land that worshipped the muses. I found Agnopolis. Once there, I met and fell in love with a wonderful man who turned out to be the king, my beloved Sorab. I've had amnesia about my past for over 20 years, and now, seeing you, it's coming back in bits and pieces. Well, shit. I'm sure this is how it happens in the game, obviously without, like, Hanukkah getting Prego up, of course. But yeah. Okay, continue. Do you really remember me? Shiny asked slowly. His voice quavered as if he was hoping against hope. That makes no sense. Um, I don't think anyone can forget you, Shining Saotome. You're unforgettable, sir. Kotomi nodded this time, her auburn waves bouncing on her slim shoulders. I do now. Oh, Mitsuo, where is our son? So Rob's chocolate eyes widened as he learned more about his wife's missing past. Cecil looked at his mother in surprise, getting presentiment about what was about to occur. Is that a word? I'm sure it is. Right here, Shining said softly as he put his arm around Altea's shoulders, confirming Cecil's guess. Oh shit! Now they're finding out that they are half brothers, which is fucking weird, considering the fact that the same woman is carrying a child for each of them. That's kind of awkward. Altea's eyes widened like saucers, and he clutched Haruka's hand for support. Hold on, guys. Yeah, clean my desktop. Okay. The shell-shocked redhead gasped as the news sank in. Huh? After wishing and wondering for years, I never imagined meeting my parents this way. First I found out I was going to be a father, and now I find out that I'm not an orphan at all. Ruby eyes flickered back and forth between the two adults before going blank. Altea suddenly swayed on his feet, passing out from shock. Again, a very anime expression and reaction. He started to fall backwards onto Tokia, but the blue net. Oh my god. I forgot that they did this. That sometimes people use blue net for like it's like a blue-haired person and they mix it with the word brunette because it makes sense because they have blue hair. Caught him by the shoulders, slowly lowering his limp form to the dark emerald carpet. Kotomi gasped when he started falling and then sent a puzzled look at Shining after she made sure her older son was taken care of. Excuse me. She opened her mouth to speak, but before she could form words, someone else started talking. Okay. Sho piped up. But doesn't that make Altea and Cecil half-brothers? Very good, Shorty, Ren added, ruffling Sho's hair in a condescending manner. I already knew that, Tokia interjected abruptly. The two of them are a lot alike, and their facial structure is nearly identical. I did some research about the president's music career when I was deciding to attend Saotome Gakuen, and I came across a woman named Itoki Kotomi. When I was determining whether or not to accept Cecil as part of the master course, I researched his home country. Imagine my surprise when I found out the queen, Aijima Kotomi, was the same woman. After some cross-referencing, I had confirmed it. I guess that's like it within Tokia's character, but I don't know. I don't think he would have time to do that. I feel like he'd be too busy, like, working on his own music. Maybe he would have suspicions that they're very similar, but I don't think he would go into researching it. I think one of the senpais, but Eiji would do that, I think, but I don't think Tokia would, personally. Unless he had time, like, while he's reading. Anyways, everyone stared at him in shock. Well, you always were good at getting facts, Ren agreed. His voice showed his slight awe at the blue net's analytical prowess. But why didn't you tell us? Cecil asked in confusion. Tokia looked uncomfortable at the question. I was going to, but Ringo realized what I knew. But when Ringo realized what I knew, he told me that I should let the family find out on their own, because more was involved than I realized. When the topic never came around again, I had mostly forgotten. He rubbed the back of his neck as if ashamed and slightly embarrassed. Attention now turned to Dingo, who was admiring his candy apple red nails when he felt many eyes staring at him. He chuckled nervously. Don't be mad. Shining Sun needed to figure this out on his own and with good time. Shining looked like he was going to say something when Cecil began talking again. I have a brother, Cecil trailed off, looking at his older brother whose eyes were just beginning to flutter open. The younger man looked as happy as he had when he joined Starge. Ultimately looked at her passed-out son. Didn't he say that he's going to be a father? Yes, Shining stated slowly, not caring to elaborate yet. The plan of forcing Starge to tell their parents had backfired, but he had not paid closer attention to the king and queen of Agnapolis. He had met Sohrab before on many occasions throughout the years, but he had never seen the queen before. He hadn't even been expecting her to be here today. Now he had met the queen, and she was also the love of his life, now married to his foreign friend. Ultia jolted. Yeah, that's fucking awkward, man. Ultia jolted upright suddenly, only to stare at Cecil, as if really seeing the teal-eyed prince for the first time. Cecil didn't give him long to stare, though. He immediately tackled Ultia in a bear hug. This is so cool! I always wanted a brother! Ultia returned the hug weakly, still adjusting to the idea of having a family outside of the orphanage. Just wait until he tells the principal of the orphanage. Gotta clean my glasses, guys. My glasses are just... I need new glasses, first of all. But... Alright, that's a little bit better. Cecil was helping his brother to his feet when a woman in her mid-20s suddenly appeared in front of Cecil and Ultia. She had long, wavy black hair that bounced around her hips and deep, almost black eyes that pierced the prince's soul and simultaneously complemented her mocha complexion. Ah, Miki, you're here too, Cecil tried to sound excited, but he quickly became quiet when she stared at him. Does Cecil really have a sister? I don't think so. I think it's just him and Ultia. I'm not quite sure on the lore of that in that respect. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to check that, but I think this is another original character that the author wrote for this. Because you would know if they had a sister. Who is she? Masato asked Cecil. She's my older sister, Cecil managed to squeak under her gaze. He grabbed Haruka's hand for support. Miki interjected sharply. Half-sister. I'm the bastard daughter of the king. Okay, so this is Cecil's half-sister on his father's side, so she's not related to Ultia. The guys looked surprised at her coarse language. Sohrab blushed, as if in shame. Ultimately gave his hand a gentle squeeze as the foreign king began enunciating. Miki was the result of my indiscreet past. Her mother passed when she was young, so I have been providing for her. Who knew parents were supposed to do that? Miki said with biting sarcasm. Sohrab sent her a deadly look, and she silenced. Since her mother was a courtesan, she had no stake to the throne. My son is my only heir. You could just say my mother was a prostitute, and since they aren't legal, neither am I, she rolled her eyes, muttering something about Sohrab and diplomats. The air grew thick with the tension between the family. Haruka looked at Cecil's tired face now. He looked a bit like a puppy with its tail between its legs. I don't want the throne, he mumbled with clenched fists. You will take the throne. You have no choice in the matter, Sohrab declared. Cecil stared straight into his father's eyes. What about my life in Japan? I have friends. I've been able to sing the songs of the muses. I have a wonderful woman by my side whom I love more than anything in the world, and she has made me a father. Cecil gestured to Haruka as he ranted. Sohrab looked at the pink-haired girl for the first time. She carries a royal child? His voice held intrigue as he judged the composer with calculating eyes. Cecil froze. No, don't even think about it. If she carries a child of royal blood, then the child must be born in Agnapolis. How far along are you, my dear? 7 months? 8? Haruka blushed under the king's intense gaze. Yeah, this is fucking awkward. I don't like this. Hold on just a minute, Ultia began. Dad, stop it, Cecil pleaded. Tokia suddenly stood protectively in front of Haruka. She is also carrying my child. Ren joined Tokia, flashing his Colgate white teeth. Oh my god. Mine as well. Me too, Ultia declaimed. Is that a word? I don't know. I feel like sometimes fanfiction authors will just it's like, anyway, sorry. Sometimes I think fanfiction authors will just look up synonyms, or like, yeah, they'll look up synonyms for words because they don't want to keep using the word said or exclaimed or proclaimed or whatever. But like, just use the regular words. Like, you don't need, unless it's like actually what they're doing, you don't need to like use a different name, use a different word, or like just put like they said or they replied or whatever. Like, just say that. You don't have to use fancy words. Sho joined his bandmates. Same here. I've been blessed as well, Natsuki added with a wide grin. What? For the first time, the people who had been sitting quietly on the couches made their presence known. Oh, God. While Sohrab took in the sight of 7 young men declaring themselves to be the fathers of one woman's children, Ultimi turned and accused her to glare at her former lover before her eyes darted back to her 2 sons and Haruka. Miki seemed to have snapped out of her sulking temporarily to gape at the 8 people with a very unladylike open mouth. Since Shining was the only parent besides Haruka's who knew about the pregnancy, most of the guys paled when they turned to face their respective families and explain the statement they had just made. Ren's 2 older brothers had been sitting with perfect posture in their pressed blue business suits until they jumped up demanding an explanation for their younger brother's announcement. I mean, what do they expect? Like, we've seen what one of his older brothers looked like in the anime. I don't know if the other one is in the game, but like, Ren's he's the youngest, so he can pretty much do whatever he wants. A woman with deep lapis lazuli eyes and dark blonde waves jumped to her feet beside a man with kind hazel eyes and spiky dark blue hair. Tokia looked at the woman with an even almost cold gaze, as if daring his mother to say something, while his father smiled apologetically, rubbing the back of his head and chuckling nervously. Oh, those are his parents. Another woman with short curly blonde hair had engulfed her son in a hug, her emerald eyes taking in Haruka's figure over Natsuki's shoulder. Na-chan, Mama is so happy for you. She squeezed him tighter, and Ulti had now understood where Natsuki got his personality. Sho's parents and her brother had engulfed him in a tight hug. Oh, it's Yuki Kaji. Good going, bro. She's a pretty one, Kaudu is Yuki Kaji. Kaudu cheered, ruffling his older brother's hair. Masuto's little sister, Masuto has a sister, had managed a half-hearted congratulations despite their father's disapproving glare. Masuto then faced his father with steely eyes, waiting for a punishment. I'm surprised Masuto's father isn't, like, threatening to fucking kill him in front of everybody. When Haruka scanned the faces of the crowd, she gasped when she spotted her own family. In particular, when her golden gaze landed on a familiar waterfall of purple hair and a tumble of ruby waves. Sitting there with her family was not just Kei, but Tomo-chan as well. Oh shit! The adopted brother is now into Tomo-chan. Well, you know what? Shit works out for a reason, I guess. Watch out, Tomo-chan, though. This guy's a fucking creepo. Kei saw his arm wrapped on her former roommate's shoulders, whispering sweet words in her ear that made the singer blush. Kei looked up at his sister and smiled gently. Haruka slowly made her way between the crowds of families to her brother. Okay, I'm just reading what is written, okay, guys? This next line. It's very cringe, but okay. Anya-chan, let's start over, ne? She offered. That's literally what it says. Letting him know he was forgiven. Kei started to cry as he pulled his sister into a hug. I'm so sorry, Haru-chan, for everything. It's okay. Now you have Tomo-chan now. It's okay now. You have Tomo-chan now. Tomo-chan is the most wonderful person. She is my best friend, so treat her well, okay? She smiled at her older brother before turning to Tomochika. Can you look after my brother for me? It's his turn to be loved by someone, and there's no one I would rather trust him with. Tomo-chan laughed. With a body like his, you don't have to worry. I'll keep my eyes on him forever. Damn, Tomo-chan is She into him. Kay looked at his girlfriend with a fake pout. What about my glorious personality? The redhead put her fist under her chin and she pretended to debate the question and drew out Kay's torture. I suppose your personality can be pretty charming. She kissed him on the cheek and Haruka giggled at the couple's antics. Suddenly, Haruka's head whipped around. She heard Kotami screech, What do you mean you wanted a new generation of idols? Okay, next chapter. Let's see the chapter next. So the next chapter is called Time for Family. Okay. Suddenly, Haruka's head whipped around as she heard Kotami screech. What do you mean you wanted a new generation of idols? Shining put his hands up in a helpless gesture of defense as his former lover screamed at him furiously. What kind of a fake excuse is that? She shrieked. Oh, I can't believe you sometimes. What the hell were you thinking? Cecil put a soothing hand on her back and gently began. Mom, it's all right, really. No, Cecil, it's not all right. Just look at the poor girl. 10 babies is way too much for anyone. Yeah, her uterus is gonna be like fucked up. Having you was hard enough on me. I can't believe you didn't kill him. This is not right, Mitsuo. Yeah, Haruka's gonna have like a hysterectomy after this. Like her down there is gonna be all fucked up. But Mom, we all love her and she loves us. Now Tokia's mother joined the fray. My son will have no part in this catastrophe. Tokia, let's go. We're leaving. They're adults. Rima, dear, calm down. Tokia is a grown man. We can't force him to leave if he doesn't want to. Ichinose Nagihiko, be quiet. Tokia, come here now. Rima had put her hands on her hips and was staring up at her son with narrowed eyes. Tokia gazed at her seemingly unfazed. No, he said eagerly. Rima interrupted. What do you mean, no? You can't really want to be part of this train wreck. Meanwhile, Masaomi, Masa's dad, was grilling his own son. I warned you not to go to that useless musical school. I'm trying to do his voice. You are my heir. Carry yourself with some dignity. We are leaving now, and you will never look back on this incident. Noriko, Masa's mother, put a soothing hand on her husband's arm. Oh, she's alive. I thought his mom was dead. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I haven't played the games. I assume she was, like, dead. Because they never fucking talk about the mom in the anime. Darling, calm down. Masato is happy. That is what matters most. You are nowhere near retirement, and he is a grown man. You cannot force him to do anything. If you want to stay here with that slut and be a little sissy boy that you can do it without my support, you are dead to me. Masaomi's dad, goddamn. His dad is a fucking asshole. If you guys didn't already know that by watching the anime. Now you know. Something snapped in Masato and he suddenly found his fist slamming into his father's jaw. Oh fuck, he punched him. Never insult Haruka again, he said dangerously. She is the light in this world. If you can't see that, you are the one who is dead to me. Take your blood money and kindly extricate yourself from my life permanently. He spat back at his father. Masaomi looked down at his son in shock, his silver eyes locking with his son's blue ones. Noriko gasped, her own sapphire orbs widening in shock. Masaomi wiped away some blood that was staining his mouth. Then he did something unexpected. He chuckled. The fuck? I don't think this man would forgive his son, like, just like that. That's just, like... That's just, like... Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't think he would, like... be like, that quick to forgive. Because he just said a bunch of like mean things. It's really bad. But I guess they tried to make him into a redeemable person. Nicely done, son. Forgive my harshness, but I needed to make sure you really loved this girl. You just stood up to me for the first time in your life. For that, I give you my blessing in this odd relationship, but our discussion about taking over the business is not over. Masato was surprised, but still not quite pleased. If you ever insult her again, I will have no qualms breaking every bone in your body. Shit, I'd watch that. Noriko left uneasily, trying to diffuse the tension, but failing miserably. Mai hugged her older brother and pulled him away from their father, closer to Haruka, who was now talking to Natsuki's mother. Oh, Nachan, she's just so cute. She looks just like Elizabeth, Lulu said enthusiastically, a slight Nagoya accent evident in her voice. I know, that's what I said when I first met her. Natsuki and his mother laughed, and they both hugged Haruka. Suddenly, there was a new man in the doorway. Oh, God. Who is this? Sorry I'm late, he calls. He fixed his golden blonde hair, ruby eyes looking apologetic and frazzled. My plane from Okinawa just got in, and Lulu. Tadase! Lulu's kind green eyes suddenly hardened as she faced the man in the doorway. What are you doing here? Oh, shit. Never mind, they're like divorced or something. I came to see my son. Well, he's not yours, he's mine. You were never there for us. You left us in France, so you have no right to see him. Lulu, you know I was not the right fit for that lifestyle. I'm not cut out to be nobility. I'm just an average guy from Okinawa, not an aristocrat like you. Lulu glared at him and muttered something in French as she crossed her arms, looking like she was biting back, saying something worse. Natsuki glanced between his parents and sighed. Please don't do this today. Today is about meeting Haruka and talking about the future, not the past. What happened is done with. Can you two please get along for my sake? Lulu sighed, the fight leaving her. Anything for you, sweetheart. Tadase visibly relaxed. What did you mean about aristocrats? I was going to say aristocrats. Cecil asked Lulu. Oh, Nachan never told you? I am actually in charge of the Montesquieu estates at the Viscountess of the Sol area. At the base of Mount Ventoux. That's where he grew up. Show guessed his best friend. You told me that you grew up in the French countryside, yet you conveniently forgot to mention that you were a Viscount. Natsuki smiled innocently at his friend, rubbing the back of his head as if to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorab looked at Natsuki in a new light, muttering something about a worthy adversary. Tadase looked over at Haruka, who was currently being hugged from behind by Natsuki. Natsuki regarded his father carefully, with wary eyes that had a slight Satsuki-like edge. Oh shit, I like his dad already. The older blonde was dressed in a casual business suit, looking like he had just come from an office, but his rough hands and tan skin revealed his vocation to be more labor-intensive. Tadase extended a hand to Haruka. Thank you for being with my son. Father, she didn't just choose me, Natsuki started. Tadase cut his son off, though, by saying, I know, Natsuki, I worked for Saltama-san. I arrived late because I was finishing the construction of your new vacation house in California. Wait, I thought he was from... Oh, I guess he came from California to Okinawa, and then came from Okinawa to where they are. I was already informed of the situation. You don't have to worry. I understand that your love is true. Take care of her, son. Lulu looked at Tadase with grudging respect for caring about their son. Tadase continued. I have been working for the Saltama agency since you began attending the academy. I never stopped watching over you. Never. Tadase reached out slowly toward his son, who promptly engulfed him in a tight hug. I love you, Papa. Tadase nearly cried in relief at his son's affectionate labeling of Papa. I love you so much, Natsuki. Your mother and I may not have worked out, but I'm sorry you got caught in the crossfire. Tadase pulled away slowly and faced Haruka. Thank you for everything, making him whole, loving him, and going through with the pregnancy. Haruka gasped at his knowledge of Natsuki's split personality to become whole. They hadn't told anyone, and she was not even aware that Shining had known about Satsuki in the first place. As she opened her mouth to inquire about that, she was suddenly swarmed by another energetic family, the Kurusus. Sho wrapped his arms around her protectively. Haruka, whatever you do, don't talk to them. They will rot your mind and slowly drive you insane. Oi, Oni-chan is so mean, Kaoru fake cried as he exclaimed this. And here I came all this way to congratulate you and see the mother of my new niece or nephew. Here he unleashed a great sigh of depression. How could you have known that? Sho cried in frustration. You guys just found that out after we announced it 5 minutes ago. Sho growled at his brother's display, but he was caught off guard by his parents looking at him with sad puppy dog eyes. Sho-chan, they chorused. Oh my god. Haruka giggled as Sho swatted his father's head, chestnut bangs sweeping to the side. His mother looked up at him with innocent silver eyes, her long blonde hair draping across narrow shoulders. His father's kind cerulean eyes seemed to be laughing at his elder son. While Sho was once more occupied by Kaoru, Yuki swept gracefully toward Haruka, while her husband, Kaname, followed closely. We would like to congratulate you for the babies. You are the most important person to our Sho-chan. Please take care of him. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask, Yuki informed Haruka. Kaname nodded. Wait! Did you just name his parents after the fucking Vampire Knight character? Oh my god. Yuki and Kaname. Oh, Jesus Christ. I just noticed. I just fucking noticed that they named Sho. Why Sho's parents after Yuki and Kaname? That's so random. Why not Tokia's parents? Well, okay, well, I only say that because Mamoru Miyano is Zero in Vampire Knight. He wasn't Kaname or Yuki, obviously, but like that would have been an interesting yeah, that's so why? My mind is blown. Haruka was getting tired of standing, so she wandered over to sit on the sofa beside Ren, who was calmly discussing matters with his brothers. When she sat beside her lover, his second eldest brother bowed before her, bringing her delicate hand gracefully to his lips. It is an honor to meet you, Lady Haruka. My name is Shinbuji Kenji. I hope my idiot younger brother has not caused you too much trouble over the years. As Kenji ranted, Ren stood up briskly and slapped his brother on the back of the head, forcing him to faceplant on the plush couch cushions. Seiichiro laughed at his younger brother's antics. As Ren and Kenji acted like 5-year-olds, Seiichiro approached the young lady who had captured so many hearts. You have done so much to help Ren over the years. It is my hope that you may continue to do so. If you need the assistance of our family, I will support you. Please look after my brother. He should always have that shining smile. Of course, and it is nice to see you again, Jinguji-san, Haruka continued politely. Please, call me Seiichiro. We're family now. Kenji paused his fight with Ren. And you can call me Kenji, madame. Ren pushed Kenji away. That's enough out of you. My apologies, Haruka. There was a reason you only met Kenji today. Haruka laughed as Ren straightened his hair and let out a deep sigh. It's quite all right. Your brothers are wonderful. Ren looked surprised at her enthusiasm. Back to Tokia. Oh shit, I forgot he was like fighting with his parents or like trying to Anyways, okay, let's go. Let's see. Rima, please stop it. You don't even know the girl. She could be wonderful. You have to give her a chance. Nagimiko pleaded on behalf of their son. I'm sure they're named after some characters from some other show. I don't recognize their names. After a half an hour of fighting and getting nowhere, Rima gave in with a sigh. Fine, I'll talk to the girl and see how well suited she is for Tokia. After what happened to Ikuto, I don't want him to get hurt too. At the mention of her elder son, Rima's eyes began to well up with tears. Wait, he has a brother too? Did this author make this shit up again too? Ow. Unless this is true, but I don't remember reading this on the wiki. Tokia looked down at the floor, shoulders tense, and fists clenched. Regret for getting his mother so worked up resounded within him. Haruka's slender arms wrapped around him as she soothed. It's all right, Tokia. I'm here. Tokia collapsed on a couch across from his parents. Nagihiko was holding from his hand reassuringly. Haruka sat beside Tokia, and his fingers intertwined with hers. I actually did have a twin brother named Ikuto. Oh, okay, they made this shit up. Before I met you. What? I know this is for the drama, but, like, why'd you actually give him an actual twin brother? That's really fucked up that he played his own twin in the anime, then. Like, if you look at it within the context of the anime plus this story, that's really fucked up. Anyways. Okay. When we were young, he was my best friend. He kept me lighthearted, and he stopped me from being too serious. But before Satome Academy, we were on our way home from one of my jobs as Hayato. He was depressed because his girlfriend had cheated on him with his best friend, me. What? We were barely speaking at that point, him having just found out while on set with me. What the hell? I felt terrible because I didn't even know they were dating. He had walked into my dressing room, ready to tell me about his amazing new girlfriend, Saya. But instead he found her making out with me. Okay, this is very out of character for Tokia, I feel, and I am going to say, personally, I'm not a huge, big, mega, super fan when characters in a fanfiction do something very out of character. And to me, this is something very out of character for Tokia. I don't think he would cheat on anybody. And I don't think he would have a girlfriend before Haruka in terms of, like, the story or the game story. I don't think he would have actually dated anybody unless it was for publicity, if at all. You know, especially because it's like the Japanese society, you know. Oh shit, I forgot to send someone the fucking link to my stream. Shit. Well, god damn it. Hold on, guys. I totally forgot. Okay, anyways. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't think Tokia would like. He seems like a very experienced person, but I don't think he like really is. I think he's just good at like pretending he is. That's just my personal like feelings about his character. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played the game, so maybe I could be wrong. But like, just to me, I don't think he would like do any of that. I feel like he'd be way too busy to even like make out with somebody until he meets Haruka. Anyways, here Tokia made a sound of absolute disgust and contempt at himself. She had played both of us, but he was too broken to hear anything. Not that I offered much. When we were about 20 minutes from home, we were ambushed by a gang of thugs who were looking for money. Okay, the fuck? Why would this happen? Tokia's eyes began to well, but he continued on with the story. They had guns. Where did they get guns in Japan? And after they took all of our cash, they pointed the guns at us. Where was he? Where is this at? Is this like in Japan? Is this somewhere else? What? I heard the shot ring out, but instead of feeling a searing pain, I felt Ikuto's body land on me. I screamed at the top of my lungs as the thugs ran away. Ikuto looked at me, pain clouding his eyes. I had looked at him and said, why? He just looked at me with eyes full of love. Because no matter what happens, you were always my number one, my best friend, my partner in crime. I just wish I had longer with you. I looked down at him and said, you're going to be alright. You have to be alright, okay? You can't leave me here alone. Please, Ikuto. Okay, this would work way better if you told it as, like, not Tokia telling it to her, like, while sitting there. Like, I think a better way to get this across and make it less, like, dumb and more dramatic would be if you, made the introduction to this a better, like, way of, like, oh, it's a flashback. Tokia's voice broke on a sob. But he just looked at me grimly, his blood covering both of us now. By the time the cops got there, he was already gone. It took 3 men to pull me away from him. I refused to believe he could be dead. Within a week, they had caught the men responsible, but it wasn't enough. The following month, I had gone out in my car, driving too fast in a sad attempt to feel something other than emptiness. But instead of that, I almost met my own death. Going 100 kilometers per hour, I got distracted and hit a tree. I was hospitalized for a while, struggling to find myself again, to be someone without him. Okay, I'm a dumb American. I don't know how fast that is in miles per hour, so let's look that up, shall we? "62 miles per hour. Only 62, but alright. Still, I suppose that's pretty fast when you hit a tree. Tokyo paused and looked at Haruka, who was sobbing empathetically through his tale. For a while, I pretended I was okay, but you were the one who really saved me. You reminded me of who I was and who I could be. I felt that just maybe, with you, everything would be alright again. I love you so much, Haruka. Thank you for being in my life." Now Tokyo looked back at his mother, who was sobbing as well. "Mother, Haruka has saved me. These last few years I have only been able to be myself again because she was here for me. Without her, I would still be like I was back then. Please let us be together, Mother." Rima looked at Haruka. Her eyes were no longer as hard as they had been. "She's not cheating on me with the others. She is saving all of us. I love her despite everything, or maybe because of everything that has happened. I never want to be with anyone but her," Tokyo finished resolutely. "Ichinose-san," Haruka addressed Tokyo's mother. "No one should have to go through what you went through. I'm so sorry for your loss, but please let Tokyo stay with me, stay with us. I love him, and I always want to hear his wonderful voice singing for the world to hear. Your son is one of my best friends, and he is a wonderful man with a bright future. I hope that you may understand the happiness he brings to others and the importance he has to us all." Here Haruka gestured around the room to the other members of Starish, Shining, the teachers, and Quartet Knight, who were all looking affectionately at Haruka and Tokyo. "I hope that if not now, then someday we can be friends." Rima's face was hidden by her hair when she stood. She walked over to Haruka and pulled the slightly taller woman into a hug. Rima cried as she tucked and Haruka rubbed her back soothingly. "I'm sorry for trying to judge you before knowing you. I just didn't want Tokyo to get hurt too. After losing Ikuto, things have been tense between us all. I'm glad to see that my worries were for nothing. You are a wonderful young woman. Please continue to look after Tokyo." "It's all right. It's okay now. We're all here for you. If you need us, we'll be here for you, Ichinose-san." God, my Haruka voice is just so stupid sounding. Rima looked up at Haruka. "And if you ever need us, we'll be here for you." "Oh, I almost forgot! Here!" Haruka smiled, handing Rima an ultrasound picture. Rima gasped. "Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful!" Rima glanced between Haruka's midsection and the sonogram. "Hello, my beautiful grandbabies. Your grandma and grandpa are here. You all will have the most amazing parents, all 8 of them. Soon enough I'll get to meet you guys, and I want to be there for you every step of the way." The guys passed out the extra sonograms Dr. Kihara had given them to the rest of the crowd. My god. "This is so touching!" Reiji cried in the corner, holding his own copy of the black and white picture. Oh my fucking god. Namadu hit him over the head, but as he went to scold the older man who acted like a child, his attention landed on a very attractive person just across the room. The person saw him gawking and gave a sly wink. Wait, who the fuck is he looking? What? Who is this? Okay, who is he looking at? Cecil's sister? Who is this? Who is he looking at? And gave a sly wink. Murammaru blushed and made his way through the crowds. Icy blue eyes enchanted the rock artist. From behind, Leiji smirked knowingly. Murammaru continued his slow approach, and in turn, the blue-eyed charmer advanced toward him. "Who is this?" "When did you get here?" Murammaru asked, dumbfounded. "I'm just as surprised to see you here, darling." "Shh, not in front of people," Murammaru hissed, a faint blush adorning his cheeks. "I'd rather listen to that sort of command in the bedroom." What the fuck? Why is this a conversation? Why are they having this conversation? Who is this? Kaito winked at his boyfriend. "Oh, Yes, people. Haruka's older brother and Kurosaki Ranmaru are boyfriends. Oh my god. Alright. Plot twist. Did not expect that. They met a little over a year ago at a rock concert in Germany. Rock on. They had exchanged numbers at the time, and after returning to Japan, they had kept in contact, and they had been going out happily for 6 months now, even though Ranmaru was a bit shy about being openly gay. Well, alright, we got some LGBTQ representation in here, so you know what? That gives extra. You get bonus points, Rain Diamond. You get extra bonus points for that. You are a true ally. You, like, legit. Like, I like that. Because I feel like Ranmaru is in a lot of the, like, slash ships like this, so making him, like, actually, like, LGBTQ is actually pretty interesting. But I don't think they would be talking like this out loud in front of other people. I feel like this needs to be a private conversation. I don't think anyone should be talking this openly about, I listen to that sort of command in the bedroom. Okay, relax. There's like a million people in this room. And that goes for anybody, not just gay couples, but straight couples too, especially straight couples. My god. Straight couples need to relax the most, okay? Like, PDA, guys. PDA. You're in an unusually good mood, aren't you? Ranmaru stated. Well, now I get to see these guys squirm as they explain to their families. It was less fun when Haruka had to explain it to us. Excuse me. Now there's the sadist I know, Ranmaru laughed to himself. Kaito looked up at his boyfriend with a sudden seriousness. You know, my family already knows that I'm gay, and no one's opinion really matters. We should just come out right now. Now? I think this is a little sudden. Really, Reiji butted in. I was rooting for you guys. You're so cute together. Come on, Dan. Ranmaru sighed as his boyfriend and his bandmate urged him to tell. Alright, but what if they take it badly? Well then, fuck them. After everyone in this room agreed to letting Nanami be in a relationship with 7 different men, I highly doubt they will object to a relationship between 2 men, I informed. Ranmaru jumped. Where the hell did you come from? He shouted at his youngest bandmate. I agree, there should not be a problem with your relationship in the eyes of these peasants and few nobles, Kamu added thoughtfully. Alright, let's do this, Ranmaru conceded. Kaito stood up in front of the large television as he declaimed, Attention, please, we have an announcement to make. The assembled people listened curiously. Kaito pulled Ranmaru up beside him. My boyfriend Ranmaru and I would like to announce our 6-month anniversary. The crowd froze, comprehending what they had just said. Haruka was the first to speak. Congratulations! I wish you both happiness. Soon the whole room seemed to come back to life as cheers and whistles rang out from the people gathered around. I'm surprised nobody is being homophobic, thankfully. You would think that, like, one person would be, like, a fucking asshole and be, like, super homophobic or something. Glad that's not the case. Ranmaru sighed in relief, letting out a breath he didn't know he had been holding. Reiji flashed a grin at the couple and Ranmaru mouthed a thank you. After a short time longer of mingling, Reiji and Ren emerged from the kitchen to announce that dinner was ready. The 2 chefs had outdone themselves, preparing enough food for all 36 people. My god. They had curry, hot pot, takoyaki, yakisoba, sushi, and, as a joke aimed at Cecil, pizza. Where's the karage? Man, you got Reiji here and he didn't make karage? That is a shame. The large family? ? Okay. Gathered around the extensive... I didn't say that. Like, the question mark is there. The extensive oak table that ran through the dining room. At the head was shining with Sorab at the other end. When the meal was over, everyone retired to the various rooms around the house. After Kotomi was asleep beside him, Sorab withdrew his cell phone. Yes, he has one. In parentheses, yes, he has one. And said one word to an unknown number. Now. As soon as he hit the button, he placed a gas mask over his face. Oh, what the fuck? He's being fucked up. Within moments, he could hear the faint noise of the villa's ventilation system activating, and an odorless gas spread through the house. In her room, Haruka was laying down with Tokia curled up on her lap. Ooh. She ran her fingers absently through his beautiful blue locks with one hair, while the other wrote down a new melody that had come to mind after dinner. She suddenly found her eyes becoming heavy and her throat becoming dry. What? She didn't get to finish her inquiry before she passed out on the bed. Tokia jumped up, startled by her fainting. At the doorframe, Cecil collapsed, his own eyes beginning to close. Tokyo looked at him, his own throat becoming as dry as the desert. Cecil croaked. Damn, that old bastard. Cecil would say that? Just before he collapsed. Tokyo fell to his knees, unable to fight the urge to sleep. How do you read comments on here? I guess they're not here. Okay, well that's the end of chapter 10. So, very interesting. Alright, next chapter. Chapter 11, which is called King for a Day, Part 1. Okay, we got Part 1. King for a Day, Part 1, let's go. Alright, so we got a lot of shit going down. Let's see how this resolves itself. I believe there are 2 chapters after this. Because there's technically 1 and then an epilogue. Alright. Cecil groaned as he stirred awake. A blinding light was apparent, even from behind his closed eyelids. When he finally managed to open his eyes, he gasped in shock. No longer was he in the ivory-walled room where Haruka and Tokyo were last night. Instead, he was in a room that he knew all too well. His childhood bedroom in Agnopolis. Cecil sat up, in alarm, looking for his friends or Haruka. The prince jumped to his feet, getting off the plush 4-poster bed. Running to the large wooden doors, he tugged on the handle, cursing when he found it to be locked. He began pounding on the door, shouting for someone to let him out. You should have just accepted the throne 5 years ago, but it is better late than never, a voice said from a dark emerald chair. Cecil turned to glare at his father, who was grinning in triumph. You see, you will accept the throne very shortly. You must have thought you were so clever, trying to stay away until after your 21st birthday, so you would not be allowed to ascend to the throne. But I knew exactly what you were doing. Now I just have leverage. Cecil shivered at the way his father said the last word. And what makes you think I would ever willingly take that throne? Cecil growled with clenched fists. His father let out a barking laugh. Well, maybe you would like a little input from your dear Haruka. Oh wait, I cannot allow that right now. How dare you bring her into this? I don't want a throne that is stained with the blood of our people. I want to be free of this whole country. It may seem beautiful on the outside, or in the eyes of a child, but as I grew up, I discovered the wicked secrets lurking beneath. And you're a wolf in sheep's clothes. When I was little, I worshipped you like I do the muses, but you are a dangerous man. I hate you. Oh, God. Damn, Cecil got daddy issues for sure. Cecil was too furious to notice the sadness in his father's eyes. The sadness was masked by the time the prince faced his king again. I'm having interest in my country. You have 2 choices, son. You can either take the throne and make Haruka your queen, in which case I will let all of your friends and their families go free, or you can refuse and you will never see any of them ever again. Cecil's fight left him when he heard his father's words. So Rep continued on. You have 6 hours to decide. Choose wisely. Okay, so transition. Haruka woke up in a gilded room with drawn curtains. She could just see a glimmer of light streaming in from the crack between the thick velvet drapes. Rising slowly, she was surprised to find herself in an ivory gown with gold trimming with shimmering teal jewels that adorned her throat and crown. The dress was floor-length and shimmered in the bright light that flooded in when Haruka pulled back the curtains. Haruka's hand flew to her swollen abdomen when she looked at the flood of people on the city streets below. White and cream-colored buildings stretched as far as the eye could see, and dark-skinned people waved to the ivory-skinned composer above. Where am I? She gasped. Is she, like, in fucking Agrabah or something? Like, they just described it like that. Like, I know his country is just made up, but, like, I don't know. You could have, like, described it a little bit better. Not make it so, like, stereotypically, like, Middle Eastern, I guess. Okay. Transition. In an entirely different wing of the palace, everyone else from the villa was locked in a giant series of chambers. Food and clothes were laid out, but there was no escape. The windows were locked and barred, and the door was 3 feet of solid cement. Oh my god. Damn it! Sho yelled as he punched a wall. Where the hell are we? And where are Haruka and Cecil? Shining looked out the window as he spoke. We are in Agnapolis. My guess is that Cecil has been putting off his coronation for too long, and now the king is working things out. You might want to find a way out of here, or Miss Nanami could be the new queen of Agnapolis, and we may be stuck here. What? Ultia shrieked. I thought you said he was your friend. You can't do something about this? I'm afraid I have no jurisdiction here. But the reason for all of this may be so that power is not passed to Sohrab's brother's line. Here in Agnapolis, the crown prince must ascend to the throne between the age of 15 and 21, or else power will be passed to the next royal line if there are no other legitimate heirs. He may also be trying to stall until the babies are delivered, because a royal child would perpetuate the throne in Sohrab's direct bloodline. The boys paled as they realized the precarious situation they were now in. The tangible silence was broken by the sound of Kaito's fist shattering the drywall where it impacted. How dare anyone touch my little sister and to use her and us as bait? It's despicable. Listen up, men. We are going to go rescue our princess before she becomes the queen. Don't forget about us, Tomo-chan said as she gestured to herself and the other women. Haruka is my best friend, and no one is going to use her as bait on my watch. Yeah, dude, there are strong, powerful women here that can also fucking help fight. One of us should escape through the air vent and fend off the guards that are no doubt just outside the door. The wedding and coronation are crucial to Sohrab's plans, so we must be trying to contain us. The only one of us small enough to get through the air vent, though, is Miss Hijirikawa, but we need someone who can fight off the guards, Shining pondered. Mai looked right at him and said, I can fight the guards. Ever since I was little, Father has been training me in the ways of the sword, and Mother has taught me hand-to-hand combat. Okay, shit. But Mai-chan, it's too dangerous, Noriko cried. Unlike the rest of this family, I have met Haruka Ne-chan before. She is a kind and wonderful person who cares for Oni-chan very, very much. I want to do this for her and for the sake of my future nieces or nephews. My god. This dialogue, you guys. Mai must have began. It will be dangerous, so at least take this with you. Oh my god. He finished handing her a sword that he had taken down from the wall. And I love that there's like parentheses next to that that says, gotta love convenience. Yeah, because, I guess they trapped them in this room and didn't realize that there was weapons on the wall that they could possibly take down and use. Mai took the sword from her brother with a solemn nod. Natsuki tore the vent off of the wall and stood back. I looked at the teen and handed her a folded piece of paper. I prepared a map of the palace air ducts based on the positioning of where we are in the palace, and a set of blueprints I memorized. Damn, oh yeah, I forgot he's a robot. The dashed lines will lead you to a viable point of exit, and then the solid line will lead you back to the other side of this door. You shall succeed if you follow my directions. Based on my data, you have the skill level to defeat any guards you may encounter. With that, Mai was off through the cold silver air duct, and everyone else was forced to wait for her to come back. Sorry, guys. Transition. A few hours later, Cecil heard the click of a key being turned on his bedroom door. Walking toward, the looming oak structure, he faced his father once more. I hope you have a favorable response, Sohrab drawled, knowing that any decision his son made would not have been made lightly. Cecil gritted his teeth. I will take the throne. Just let the others go. It's supposed to just be grit, I think. Very good choice, my boy. Sohrab withdrew his cell phone and called a number. Lol. Cecil heard it ring for a moment before the call was picked up. Yes, let them go after the ceremony. Send over the stylists and make sure the new queen is ready in an hour. Sohrab hung up after a nameless subordinate gave the affirmative. Soon Cecil was lost in a swarm of stylists who dressed him in the traditional formal robes of Agnapolis. The cream-colored cloth wrapped around his body and the gold trim signified his rank. Teal stones decorated the brooches that held his robes in place. Cecil looked sadly in the mirror as he thought, Forgive me, Haruka. Oh shit. Transition. Haruka's head snapped toward the door when she heard it opening. Kotomi walked in, followed by several other women who were dressed in plain lavender gowns with teal edges. Haruka noted that Kotomi looked like she had been crying recently, based on the puffiness under her eyes and the redness of her face. Haruka took the queen into her arms and tried soothing her. Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry this has to happen, Kotomi apologized. Haruka's innocent honey eyes met the clouded seas of the queen's. What do you mean? Cecil's coronation is tonight, and Sohrab is holding your wedding first. He intends to keep you here as the new queen. If Cecil hadn't agreed to ascend to the throne, all of your friends and family would have been held prisoner here. Haruka gasped. Why would he do such a thing? Can Cecil not be coronated later? Why now? Kotomi shook her head. In Agnopolis, the crown prince must be coronated by the time he turns 21, or else power is passed to the next highest-ranking family. I would normally say who cares, but the next-ranking family is that of Sohrab's brother, Demande, and his wife, Esmeralda. He is an awful man, which is why he must never take the throne, and why he is currently under house arrest. However, I never wanted Cecil to get caught up in all of this. I know I didn't think this through, but now Cecil must become king. Yeah, but can't Cecil just, make up the fucking rules after he becomes king and be like, yeah, we don't have to do this. Let me make someone else king. Cool, we're done now. Goodbye. With that, Kotomi got up and left while the handmaidens prepared Haruka for her wedding. The girls deftly applied rouge, eyeliner, mascara, and lip color. When they turned the mirror toward Haruka, she could barely recognize the elegant beauty as herself. Her pretty rose-pink locks were lightly curled with the front strands pulled back in a golden clip shaped like Cecil's violet tattoo. Her eyelashes were curled upwards, giving full visibility to her shimmering amber eyes, while else would be curled. Her lips were painted a shimmering pink with a clear gloss over top. A fine coat of blush painted her delicate cheeks the color of spring chrysanthemums. I like how they called it rouge first, and then they just said blush. Adorning her head was a delicate band of gold, and the finest gems dangling from it. Attached was a thin gossamer veil with intricate gold patterns woven in it. Her necklace was a series of beautiful gold chains at varying levels, and each had a beryl gem set in gold in the shape of a music note. The gown she wore was pure white, like freshly fallen snow, with an empire waist and a sweetheart neckline. Around the waist of the dress was a golden belt, fashioned with swirling music notes and instruments. From the belt, a sheer teal layer of sparkling chiffon wrapped around her body, with a slit in the front so that the fabric draped around her baby bump. The chiffon pooled at her feet, and the rest of the dress and her little feet were showcased in a pair of low heels with a teal bow on the front. Haruka was also wearing a pair of long white gloves with gold and teal bracelets. She looked absolutely radiant, or at least she might have if she could have brought herself to smile. She loved Cecil, but this was not the way she hoped things would go. She loved all of her boys, and to think that she may never see them again. No, she told herself, she had to be strong. Everything would be all right. She just had to have faith in Starish and her family. Transition. Everyone waited with bated breath as they finally heard the lock click. Maya opened the door and stood there triumphantly. Let's go save Haru-ne-chan! Shintaro, Kaito, and Kei cracked their knuckles and grabbed the new... I think this was her family. I can't remember all their fucking names. Things that could be used as weapons. Anyone who messes with our Haru-chan will pay. Oh god. An aura of evil radiated off of the trio, but they were nothing compared to Starish. Yeah, shit. Starish is gonna just rainbow aura, but it's like a rainbow aura of death around them. Must kill was what the aura around Starish seemed to be saying. Matsuda took the sword back from Mai when she offered it. Natsuki seemed to become Satsuki once more. Oh shit. Sho and the others also seemed determined to use raw force. Minori's eyes were like steel now as she, Rima, Lulu, Yuki, and Noriko formed a team ready to hurt anyone who got in the way of their children's happiness. Jesus Christ. Tomochika, Ringo, and Mai were determined to get their friend back, and other fathers and brothers also formed a task force. Finally, there was Quartet Knight and Hyuga-sensei, who were also ready to kick some ass. Oh my god, it's like the fucking Avengers. This is the... Screw the Avengers. This is the greatest crossover of all time. Everyone in Starish's family coming to defend Haruka and defeat fucking Cecil's fucking dad, Thanos. I mean, so rad. Okay, guys, split up and look for Haruka or Cecil, Tomochika ordered. Soon, she said Avengers assemble, basically. Soon the groups charged through the doors, headed off in different directions. Shortly into their search... Oh shit, my mic moved. Shortly into their search, Mai's group heard a girl shouting. As they cautiously approached the sound, they found themselves on the other side of Miki's door. Let me out! She screamed, pounding from her side was also heard. Ringo looked at the door and held up his thumb as if sizing it up. "Allow me," he smirked. He shouted to the other side, "Stand back!" He stepped out of his re-red heels and did a spinning back kick right where the door met the frame. The door buckled and splintered into little pieces. Maya and Tomochika joined Miki in staring at him with slack jaws. "Since when can you do that?" Tomochika squeaked. "Well, when you dress like a girl, you have to know how to defend yourself from both pervs and bullies, so I took self-defense classes with a bit of judo." Oh my god. Miki looked at him, still in shock. "Thanks," she managed to stutter. Ringo winked at her, causing a deep blush to color her mocha skin. Then he spoke again. "Your brother and Haru-chan are being held hostage. Do you know where we might find them?" "I can lead you to Cecil's room. Just follow me," she responded before taking off down the hallway. The other three looked at each other, nodded, and ran after Miki. After what seemed like an endless maze of gilded hallways and parlors, Miki finally stopped in front of a pair of large wooden doors. "This is my brother's room," she whispered, touching the wood gingerly. "I just hope he's okay." Tomochika gently pushed on the door and found it to be open. The group rushed inside and began looking around. "This is definitely Seshi's room," Ringo pointed out. "But the problem is that he's not here." "He was here not too long ago, though," Maya pointed to the bed where the teal covers were twisted and warm to the touch. "Where could he be?" Tomochika shouted suddenly. They heard a melody playing and Miki paled. "That's the wedding march!" she squeaked. Tomochika, Ringo, and Maya simultaneously shouted, "Eh?" "We have to hurry. The wedding and coronation must be soon," Maya shouted before running off again. The others were hot on her tail. On their way through the winding maze, the group managed to find the parents, brothers, and quartet night with Hyuga-sensei. "Man," Tomochika shouted, "where is Starish when you need them?" The question was answered soon enough, though, when Miki abruptly stopped upon entering an antechamber. The others skidded to a halt behind her. Ahead of them was Starish, fighting off a battalion of guards in front of a pair of white doors with golden molding. Jesus. Satsuki threw one man over his shoulder and then barely paused before using a round kick to take out two more at the same time. Tokia leapt deftly over two guards and knocked their heads together while in midair. What the fuck is happening? Damn, them fighting Satsuki really helped with their shit. Ren and Masato played tag team by guarding each other's backs and fighting off a circle of guards. Masato wielded the sword with grace, while Ren threw punches like a seasoned boxer. This is so... what the fuck? Sho and Otia were helping each other out too. Otia swung one of the guards' clubs, and Sho used his martial arts for Prince of Precipices. I thought it was Prince of Fighting. Anyways. Kei, Shintaro, and Kaito wasted no time in joining the fray. The others soon joined in, and while the heroes were outnumbered 10-1, no one could stop them from saving Haruka and Cecil. Masato and Masaomi fought side by side with Maya and Noriko, and Seiichiro and Kenji joined Ren naturally. "We have to hurry, guys," Miki called over the roar of the crowd. "The wedding march is almost over." With renewed vigor, the guys fought on for their princess, with their families joining them. But would they make it in time? Transition. Haruka slowly made her way to the altar where Cecil stood with a priest. He blushed when he saw the beauty who carried his child walking down the aisle toward him. He felt another flash of guilt that he would be married to her before any of the others. He had figured they would all have a commitment ceremony one day, but being the only one to marry her was unfair. Yes, this is not a sister-wives situation, guys. One of them cannot be legally married to her and everybody else isn't. Like, they all just need to be, yeah, equal. Excuse me. Even the little part of his heart that was happy he would be the one marrying her realized this was not how he would have done it. Glancing over to Sorab, Cecil found himself growing weary. After all these years, he would take the crown after all. He was torn between a laugh and a sob. Kotomi looked on with remorse at her son's crestfallen expression. She didn't want him to go through with this, but Cecil would understand everything soon enough. Behind her, Sorab coughed into a handkerchief. She took note of the dark red stain in the once white cloth, but she said nothing because she already knew. Oh my god, does he have, like, tuberculosis or something? He's got the consumption. When Haruka finally stopped in front of him, she looked into his eyes. The two of them shared a moment of sad understanding as they realized the implications of going through and not going through with this marriage. As the priest droned on, Haruka's eyes met Cecil's once more, and this time they held each other's gaze until the priest handed Cecil a ring. The two snapped out of their reverie as Cecil took the ring and the priest said something in his native language. Cecil responded and turned to Haruka, reaching for her hand slowly, asking permission one last time. Okay, wait. What kind of ceremony is this? Like, transition. After some time of relative silence from the other side of the door, the group was almost done with the guards. A final 50 men blocked the door solemnly. Jesus. The group faced them with determined eyes before lunging into battle once more. After fighting the sea of guards, our tired heroes trudged towards the door. Sasuke stood before both doors and pulled them open. When they looked inside, they gasped in shock. Haruka, the boys whispered. Excuse me. What? Cecil slowly slid the ring onto Haruka's left index finger. Okay, I don't... What? Is this how they do it in Agnopolis? Use the index finger instead of your ring finger? Interesting. The crystal clear diamond was surrounded by smaller blue diamonds and beryl that sparkled like the stars. This thought saddened Haruka. Excuse me. Oh my god, why am I yawning? Because she missed her stars. The priest turned to Haruka, pressing the matching silver band into her palm. He spoke in Japanese for the first time to her, albeit with a thick accent. Do you, Nanami Haruka, take Crown Prince Aijima Cecil to be your lawfully wedded husband? I... Suddenly, her head snapped to the side when she heard the doors open, and she let out a sigh. Alright, it's the end of chapter 11. Next chapter, chapter 12. Let's go. Chapter 12. The title is King for a Day Part 2, Moving Onward. The priest turned to Haruka, pressing the matching silver blah blah blah. We read that already. She let out a sigh of slight disappointment. It was just an official slipping into the room quickly. Okay. Transition. Everyone with stars was shocked to see the bare walls of the empty grand hall. Oh shit. At the far end of the room, a projector displayed the wedding in live feed. Sho yelled and punched another wall. Miki collapsed to her knees, muttering about the bells and the guards. I cannot believe it was all a diversion, Masato growled. On screen, Haruka was stuttering before coming to a decision. I do, she whispered, barely loud enough to hear. The priest said something in his language, and Cecil slowly drew Haruka closer and kissed her reassuringly, but his eyes betrayed his doubt. Ren was staring angrily at the way Haruka and Cecil were displayed in front of a crowd of officials, while Tokia noted the disturbance in the audience. He looked around the screen and caught Sorab coughing violently. His eyes widened in surprise when the once white cloth turned crimson. He called out to the others, never taking his eyes off the screen. Everyone, come and look at this! When everyone was gathered, he pointed to Sorab. Shining seemed to know something, but he kept quiet. So now what? Tomochika asked. We're going to go steal the bride, Kei replied. His amber eyes were steely. Transition. Haruka looked at Cecil once more as they were escorted to the throne room. Cecil, what are we going to do? Don't worry, my princess. I have a plan. I promise it will get us out of here, so please trust in me for a while longer. Haruka nodded her agreement as they continued down the halls. In less than an hour, Haruka was standing in front of a large crowd again, only this time it was the entire country. The coronation took place on a large balcony over the crowd, and soon enough, Haruka found herself to be queen. Well, shit! We're just gonna get right to it. She had looked up in surprise when they removed Kotomi's crown and placed it on her head. The jeweled golden circlet was beautiful on her, but Cecil could not feel happy that she had become his queen this way. When the ceremony was finished, Cecil still looked stressed. There was an unusual tension around his eyes that displayed his anxiety. Whatever his plan was, Haruka hoped it would be soon. As soon as the coronation was complete, they were once more paraded through the hallways while flanked by guards. When they were brought into a formal dining room with a banquet table nearly as long as the hallway they had just vacated and surrounded by unfamiliar faces. Haruka jumped a little when the babies stirred again. She drew Cecil's warm hand to her abdomen, hoping that it would help him relax. Cecil managed to crack a smile for a moment, but it soon slipped as his father approached. "You have done well, Your Majesty," Sorab announced. One may have expected him to look smug, but instead he just looked weary. Kotomi drew to his side, placing a gentle kiss on his cheek and avoiding Haruka's eyes. Cecil ignored his father and took his seat at the head of the table. Haruka was seated to his right. Dinner was slow and everyone chattered in their native tongue, leaving the bride feeling left out. Cecil, for his part, did not say anything. Just as dessert was drawing to a close, Sorab stood up and the room silenced as all eyes turned to him. He cleared his throat and announced something that was met with cheers of adulation from the sea of people and a glare from Cecil. "What is he saying, Cecil?" Haruka asked timidly. She did. Why did I make Haruka sound like Mickey Mouse? What is he saying, Cecil? Okay, no, I don't make it sound like Mickey Mouse. She did not like seeing her, husband acting like this. Cecil turned his head toward her, his eyes softening immensely. "He made an announcement about the babies," Cecil told her reluctantly. "I'm sorry, Haruka. I only need you to stay with me on this for a few more minutes. I'm just waiting for one particular person to get here before this will work." Transition. Miki led Starish and the others all over the palace until they finally tracked the wedding procession down to that particular formal dining room. It had taken several hours of searching before they had even spotted a servant, and then it had taken a few moments of extortion courtesy of Natsuki before Cecil's location had been revealed. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, that particular room was on the other side of the massive palace, and they met more guards along the way. Unfortunately for the guards, nothing could stop Starish or Haruka's family. I don't know, would they really have this big of a fucking palace? I don't think so. After taking out the guards at the dining room's entrance, Tokyo was getting anxious. Haruka shouldn't be going through something like this. It wasn't fair to her that she was getting dragged into everything. First the pregnancy, then the relationship, and now she had been kidnapped, married, and coronated in the span of 24 hours. Tokyo tried to force himself to think positively. This would make one heck of a story for the kids one day. Sho was getting tired of running around the palace. He just wanted to hold Haruka in the safety of his arms again. After this, he wouldn't let her out of his sight for weeks. Natsuki's eyes were hard like unpolished emeralds. It would take everyone to stop him from killing Cecil's stupid father. How dare he hurt Haruka like this? Miki pushed open the large wooden doors just in time for all hell to break loose. Transition. Cecil heard the commotion outside the doors, so he stood abruptly, dragging Haruka with him. In his native tongue, he announced, "To all who are gathered here today, I have several important announcements to make. This beautiful woman beside me," here he gave her hand a squeeze, "is not mine alone. We were not supposed to be together like this, and the babies aren't even mine necessarily. I am sorry to put you all through this, but I refuse to rule as I stand before you. As the king of Agnopolis, I cannot give up my crown, but I can leave an acting ruler in my place." He paused before continuing. "By the full authority of my station, I would like to declare the acting leader of this country to be my older sister, Aijima Miki, the completely legitimate daughter of Aijima Sorab." Several things happened all at once as Cecil finished his speech. Miki and the families burst into the banquet hall. Starish formed a protective ring around Haruka. Sorab had a coughing fit before he collapsed face first onto the table, and Kotomi screamed. Everything suddenly turned to slow motion as Cecil and Miki stared at their father in horror. Blood was trickling down his chin and his eyes had rolled back into his head. Well, good fucking riddance. Kotomi kept screaming and crying, and Shining held her back as several palace medics transported him out of the room. The party guests were running around in a panic before Cecil ordered them to be dismissed. After the crowd dispersed, Cecil ran to join his mother and sister in his father's chambers. When he got there, the former king was laying on his bed. His breathing was thick and wheezy. Sorab looked over to Cecil when the new king entered. Cecil's face was twisted into a grimace as he tried to look angry while holding back hot tears. "I'm sorry that it had to be this way, Cecil," Sorab managed to get out. "I always wanted you to be the good king that could save this country from people like me. Please don't be bitter about this. I only did what I had to. You've made me so much prouder than you'll ever know. Be sure to take care of that angel. A girl like her is a once-in-a-lifetime find." Be strong, my little tiger, Sorab trailed off, his eyes slowly glazing over and his fingers slipping from Cecil's. Cecil whimpered. No, he cried. The tears he had been holding back finally spilled over. You can't do this to me. You can't leave just like that after what you put me through. Don't you dare, don't you? His voice cracked and Cecil just sobbed against his father's chest. The steady, demanding heartbeat Sorab had always had was gone. His deep brown eyes had been closed by a medic, and Cecil was faintly aware of Kotami and Miki holding each other as they sobbed a few feet away. Baba, his father, was gone. His powerful lungs now ceased working. They had quit just like his heart. When he was able to pull himself together, Cecil faced his mother. How long, he ground out. She looked confused. How long, he repeated harshly. How long was he waiting to die? Kotami started crying again. 3 months. His lungs were deteriorating. He was drowning in blood. Cecil just nodded numbly. He needed Haruka. He needed his brother. He needed to be away from this room. He wanted to go home. Home, he realized, was not here. It was with Haruka and his friends. Cecil swept out of the room to find his wife and friends waiting just outside. When Cecil saw Haruka, he broke down again, falling to his knees when she hugged him gently. She murmured soothing words, but he couldn't care less what she said. He was just glad to have her there. Transition. They stayed in Agnapas for the funeral, but once the procession had finished, Cecil made Miki the pseudo-monarch officially. Miki and Cecil had developed a better relationship since their father's passing, and she accepted her new position without question. Grateful for the trust Cecil placed in her. When they left, Dingo was the only one to stay back with Miki. Oh shit. He claimed it was only to keep an eye on the girl, but the mothers suspected otherwise, especially when Dingo stopped dressing up and showed up as a boy. Well, damn. When they returned to the vacation house, everyone was pretty emotionally drained. Yeah, I bet. Their families had gone their separate ways along with the other idols. For the first time in a while, Haruka was alone with her boys. For the remainder of their trip, they shared one large bed. Oh god. All of the boys were determined not to let Haruka out of their sight. Okay, in my fantasies like this, we do not all share a bed. That's kind of, I don't like that. I like to be spread out, like on the bed by myself, really, like I honestly don't know if I could share a bed with somebody else. I need I need to have all my room. I just need a bigger bed, I guess. I need a king size bed. When they finally returned to Japan, they were less than pleased to find the headlines. Pregnant princess, some screamed. The composer and the king, others announced. On every street corner, there were tabloids talking about Haruka and Cecil's wedding and coronation, as well as her pregnancy and Sorab's passing. They speculated that she was nearly full term, not imagining that she was only 6 months along. When the limo pulled up to a sprawling mansion, a crowd of paparazzi was waiting by the gates. A fleet of security guards held back many of the journalists, but many were still trying to get a glimpse of the famous boy band or their renowned composer. For once, Haruka was glad for the tinted windows of the vehicle. She was still confused about everything going on at the moment. Between the hormones, the events of Agnapolis, and the rabid press, she was trying very hard to keep herself composed. Haha, she's a composer. She let out a grateful sigh when the gates closed behind them, and she gasped in awe as she took in the 3-story masterpiece she would soon call home. The car stopped under a portico, and the driver stepped around to open the door for the 8 passengers. The guys got out first, and Natsuki offered a hand to their queen. Yes, technically, Haruka was now the queen of Agnapolis, the composer for Starish, Cecil's wife, and a soon-to-be mother. And the press knew all of the above, just not the fact that she was also in a relationship with 7 men, and currently carrying 10 babies, and they plan to keep the press in the dark for as long as possible. God damn. That's kind of mean to the other guys, though, now, she's only seen as one of their wives. That's fucked up. When they entered the foyer of the house, Haruka started crying in happiness when she saw a whole wall with pictures of her family, their family. All of them, from her brothers to Rima and Nagihiko, Noriko and Mai to Tadase and Lulu, and there was still space for the new members who would be joining them shortly. Jesus. Tokia stood behind her, his hands resting under her baby bump and his chin resting on her shoulder. Our family, he whispered. Our family, Masto echoed, his voice full of wonder. The future is ours to forge, Ren added. Let us create a shining future with you, lady. Haruka nodded at her lovers. Our family, yours and mine. Yours, mine, and ours. like the movie. I feel like nobody's going to get that reference. After a little while longer of taking in the pictures, the family moved to explore the house. There was a gigantic library off of the main hall, and a large kitchen stocked fully just a few doors down. The kitchen had a pass-through which could see into a breakfast nook, albeit a breakfast nook that could fit 30. On the other side of the kitchen was a door that led to a formal dining room. On the other side of the entryway was a large sitting room which led to a family room replete with game stations and a large spinning rack of DVDs and Blu-rays. Alright, well, wow, they're really they like to keep their media. They have DVDs and Blu-rays. The screen looked like it belonged in a movie theater, and there was plenty of seating for the large family. A little ways farther was an in-home gym, complete with all the needed equipment to keep 7 idols with movie-ready bodies. Onwards still, they discovered a large laundry room with a chute that they guessed dumped laundry from the chutes upstairs. I would hate to be the person doing the fucking laundry for this house. Oh my god. That would just be they need to just pay someone to just do their laundry for them, day in and day out. When they looked out on the back deck, they saw an in-ground pool, a playground, and a large patio. Holy shit. Further back, past the rose garden, there was a 2-story guest house that was bigger than her grandmother's house. Up the spiral stairs was a seemingly endless hallway of spare bedrooms, all of them complete with their own restrooms, laundry chutes, and plenty of closet space. Some of the rooms had adjoining doors, too. Besides the never-ending rooms, there was a playroom full of baby toys that had no sharp edges and had a foam-covered floor. Around the bend in the hallway was a series of soundproof rooms for the boys to practice and record in. God, fuck, this isn't even a mansion anymore. This is just like a business building. This is like the fucking apartment building that they live in Brothers Conflict, where like everyone has their own room and like they share a bathroom, but like there's more than one bathroom. It's like just a giant apartment building with like all the room you need for like everything. Excuse me. Across the hall from the sound booth was a large room filled with every instrument imaginable. There was also a computer room. It had several side rooms for independent usage and a row of desks with high-speed desktops. By the time they reached the 3rd floor, they had discovered the elevator, so they used that as opposed to the stairs. The elevator doors opened into a little antechamber that also held a door leading to the stairs. They opened one of the several white wood doors to find that it led into a pastel yellow room, and Haruka started crying again. She took in the row of white cribs that lay along the left wall. Oh god, they all share a room? Jesus. The right wall had a few changing tables and the doors to a large closet full of baby clothes. There were even more little outfits in the white wardrobe and dresser near the window. The window overlooked the pool out back, and from their vantage point, they could see that the rose garden looks like a series of music notes from above. On the other side of the window was a built-in bookshelf that had many classic storytime books and a rocking chair in the corner. There was also a kitchenette for preparing bottles and a custom stroller that could be split into 5 twin strollers or become 1 10-seater. That is way too much. I would not want to push a stroller with 10 fucking children on it. Ahead of them was a pair of white wood double doors. The boys let Haruka open the door to the massive room first. Inside the room was a very large bed with cream-colored bedding, a large sitting area with a television and a display case that currently held the 2 sonogram pictures they had gotten. Around the extensive perimeter of the room, there were many doors. One of them was along the same wall, and they guessed it led back to the antechamber. 8 of the doors had name placards to indicate the intended person to use it. Haruka walked over to the one with her name on it, and when she opened the door, she found a massive walk-in closet full of her old clothes, and a whole plethora of new dresses, skirts, and tops. In the center of the room was a circular sitting area with the remote-controlled jewelry box in the center of the circle. There was also a dresser on one wall that held some more casual options like pants and t-shirts. Just as she was about to leave, she noticed a white iPad laying on top of the couch, and it was addressed to her. Well, shit. She left the plush room to see that each boy had a similar closet in different colors and designed to fit their preferences. Tokia's color theme was purple, black, and white. Ren's came in a variety of oranges and creams and so on. Sho's closet was full of hot fashion, while Masato's had more traditional options. Cecil's came in teals and had some more suitable clothes for the king. Each of them appeared to have received a color-coded iPad as well, because we gotta stick with the color theme, guys. Althea turned wide, excited eyes on her when he left his closet and held up his red iPad. Putting it down and picking her up and twirling her around, the redhead brought the pink-haired beauty into a breathtaking kiss. I'm so glad that I get to have a future with you. I want to stay with you forever on this journey. I love you, Haruka. Haruka blushed at the heartfelt sentiment before responding. I love you too, Otoya. She wouldn't call him old. Does she call him old? Well, I think we established that she does call him by their first names now, but it just sounds weird. She'd be like, I love you too, Itoki-kun. She gave him a quick peck on the lips before the eight of them got back to exploring their massive penthouse suite. There was a full ensuite bathroom that was as big as the bedrooms downstairs. There was a hot tub-sized bath and a very large shower that could easily fit them all. There were several vanities against the walls and a linen closet that was stocked with fluffy towels in a rainbow of colors. Each of the boys had their signature color, and Haruka had white again. After they finished exploring their new house, they were all extremely tired and jet-lagged, so they put on pajamas and curled up on the massive bed. The boys fought a little over who would sleep next to Haruka until she, or rather the hormones, threatened to make them all sleep downstairs if they kept her up any longer. They behaved well after that. Sho ended up on her one side while Otoya took the other. Masato and Ren were on Sho's side while the other three were on Otoya's side. They all fell asleep rather quickly, not knowing the adventures in coming months would bring. Transition. Haruka continued going to her monthly checkups, always careful to stay out of the public eye. The guys also refused to answer any question about her directly when they had interviews to do. When she was at 7 months, they had another concert in order to distract the public from her and Cecil. Ningo had never permanently come back from Magnopolis. He had stopped by the mansion one day when she was 6.5 months in to tell them that he and Miki had started going out, and he left again a few days later with the promise to return in time for her baby shower. Tomochika, Oba-chan, and the mothers were planning Haruka's baby shower, but it would be kept to within the family and friends. The date was set to be when Haruka was right past 8 months, on September 3rd. Just last month, Namadu and Kaito had gotten engaged, and Haruka had a feeling that Kei might be popping the question to Tomochika-san. Goddamn, everyone's getting engaged and or married. Except the other 6 guys in Starish. Despite only being together for 3 months, the two were so natural with each other, and they had moved in together 1.5 months ago. Well, shit, then that's less than 3 months. When the day of the baby shower came, Haruka was once again surrounded by her big, messy, but wonderful family. Miki couldn't make it, but she sent her love to her brother and sister-in-law. Ningo had gotten back a few days ago, and he had spent the whole morning decorating downstairs with help from the girls. Haruka had gotten so big that she was waddling and her ankles were swollen. Well, yeah, no shit. This bitch is pregnant. The boys never ceased to assure her of how beautiful she was all the time, but it didn't make her feel any less like a whale. I can't really comment on that because I have never been pregnant, but guaranteed that, yeah, everyone probably feels kind of ugly when they are super heavily preggo at one point or another, I'm sure. The boys would be home in time for the party to start, but for now they were out at work. Ren and Tokia had a commercial for men's underwear. Ooh, I want to see that commercial. Masato was doing voice work for a new anime. Since when is he a sick? Okay, actually, you know what though? That makes sense because his character, Kenichi Suzumoto's character in Brothers Conflict was one of the triplets that was a Seiyu. So, and Cecil was the other one. So that shit makes sense. Never mind. Forget I asked. Or that I questioned it. Sho was with Otoya at the studio while they recorded a new duet Haruka had written. Cecil was filming on a variety show, and Natsuki was giving a performance of that samurai play he had practiced a few months ago. Sho and Otoya were the first ones home, and they were roped into hanging last-minute decorations around the house. Why was Sho doing that? He's too short. Cecil got back shortly afterwards, placing a sweet kiss on her forehead before joining the other two. Ren and Tokia returned home 15 minutes later with dinner, and Masato and Natsuki made it home just in time to join them. When the massive party had finished eating, they had gathered around to open presents. There was a stack of pastel-wrapped presents that covered one wall. And since this is a big-ass house, they probably like cover. It's probably like the biggest wall ever. Haruka, here, open ours first. Tomochika grinned, handing her a present from her and Kei. Inside the bag were 10 pacifiers and 2 breastfeeding tops. You think she's really gonna breastfeed all 10 of these fucking children? Bruh. From Reiji and Kami, they got a whole bunch of little blankets and newborn-sized diapers. Thank you, Haruka smiled at the trio. As she reached for the next present, she winced. Then her eyes widened and she let out a startled yelp. Oh shit. They're coming! Everyone froze and the boy stared at the little puddle beneath her. Okay, cool. Her water broke. Haruka started taking deep breaths while Minori called Dr. Hihara and told her to get a room ready. Tokia and Otsuya held her hands as she gave little squeezes. The two of them carried her between them and into the car. Ren swung into the driver's seat, because he's still apparently the only one out of them who knows how to drive, who has a license, while Masato sat next to him to navigate. It's okay, Haru-chan, relax. Natsuki tried to soothe as he knelt in front of her on the floor of the limo. Sho was backseat driving while Cecil rubbed her back soothingly. Jesus Christ. As they took off towards the doctor, Haruka's breathing became more pained, and her grip tightened around Tokia and Otsuya's hands. They made no complaint, but just let her squeeze them like stress balls. When they got there, staff was waiting with the wheelchair to take Haruka in. Minutes later, she was laying on a bed with the doctor across from her. You are definitely in labor, she was told. The normally sweet composer looked like she was biting back a sarcastic comment. Don't worry, the baby should be fully developed at this point. You're making history getting this far with 10 babies. Jesus Christ. Haruka didn't feel like she was making history. All she felt was pain. Haruka was almost crying as the contractions got worse, but she didn't want to take painkillers. Yeah, she did not want to get the epidural, because with 10 children in there, I don't think that shit would fucking work. Suddenly, she screamed again, almost breaking Tokia's hand. Dr. Hihara analyzed her one more time before asking, are you ready to start pushing? Is that, like, possible? Can she just push them out of her with 10 of them? I would think that would warrant a C-section. I don't think you can push 10 of them out like that. You're not like a cat or a dog or, you know, an animal that has like multiples every like a litter. I don't think that's possible. Also, like, I feel like most dogs and cats don't have that many. As they used to, I feel like. I feel like that's true. I don't think too many dogs or cats when they're pregnant have like more than like 5 or 6, maybe, I would say. Let alone 10. This is not 101 Dalmatians. Okay, Haruka whimpered and nodded. The boys looked heartbroken at the noises she was making, so they had to remind themselves that this would be worth it in the end with them being fathers. Yeah, let's hope she doesn't fucking die during fucking childbirth. Holy shit. Transition. Okay, guys, here we go. Here we go. It's time for her to pop these kids out the puh. And let's see who gets who. After an hour of hard labor, the cries of their firstborn reached the world. It's a girl, the doctor announced. Before a nurse took the baby to be cleaned, Haruka caught a glimpse of rosy pink hair. 2 minutes later, another little girl was born. She had dark blue hair, Tokia noted. Haruka gave another cry when that little girl was taken to be cleaned, squeezing his hand still as she gave birth for the 3rd time. But this time, it was a little boy with a shock of dark golden hair. The next 2 hours brought 6 more babies, but the last one was the hardest. After an hour had passed between the last of the first 9, Haruka, pale, tired, and sweaty, gave birth to the last little girl. This one had loose golden curls and wailed louder than any of the others had. During her labor, the rest of the family had gathered in the waiting rooms, and they were getting antsy after not hearing anything for over 4 hours. Wow, it only took 4 hours? I would think with 10 fucking children it would take way more than that. But anyways, finally, when Haruka had gone to sleep, the boys left briefly to announce the birth of 6 little girls and 4 little boys. The family let out wild cheers and relieved sighs. Everyone was anxious to meet the little ones. As they spoke, doctors were using the latest technology to run instant paternity tests on the babies. Oh yeah, for sure Shining tells me would have invested in that shit. After giving the initial announcement, the new fathers were shocked to see heavens among the people waiting. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Okay, so there's still a trio. Oh yeah, because this came out in 2014. This was written in 2014. So this is before Heavens became a 7-man group, like Starish. Because that was 2016. So this is definitely like a time capsule because it's only 3-person Heavens. What are you guys doing here? Sho asked, not really hiding the fact that they weren't happy to see the trio. I came to congratulate future brother-in-law, Nagi announced with no particular malice. Masato then noticed that the runt was holding hands with his sister. Oh, great. His fucking sister is gonna date the fucking annoying child. Okay, well, he's not a child here, I guess. The 18-year-old girl blushed but continued holding hands with the 19-year-old idol. Bruh. Masato gave his father an accusatory glare, but Masaomi just shook his head. It was her choice. Yeah, well, it's a bad choice. I don't think Nagi is mature enough to, like, date anyone. So yeah, I don't know about that. Eiichi and Kira stood off to the side, but Eiichi looked defeated, probably since he knew he had no chance with Haruka at all anymore. I mean, this is season 3 heavens or whatever, like this is trio heavens. They have like barely any character or personality. Which is a shame because you know you're missing the other 4 heavens members. Shrugging at last, the boys returned to join their room to see their babies up close. When they returned, Haruka was just waking up, and all 10 babies were sleeping in bassinets along the wall of the room. They had been placed in the order they were born from right to left, in parentheses, like manga. 6 pink bundles and 4 blue ones. The reality of being a father hit Tokyo, Ren, and Masato hard. Well, shit. They looked down at the tiny little faces of their sleeping angels and started crying tears of joy. Haruka smiled weakly at them while Sho helped her sit up. A few minutes later, a nurse returned with an envelope containing the results of the paternity test. Alright, guys, we're gonna find out whose kid is whose. Will you do the honors, lady? Ren asked. Haruka gingerly opened the envelope and pulled out a sheet of paper. She scanned the results before announcing the results. The first 2 little girls are Tokia's. The third child is Ren's son. Then Masato's daughter. Cecil had the next 2, identical twin boys. Sho has the little girl, 7th born. The next 2 are Otia's, a boy and a girl. And finally, the last little girl is Natsuki's. Alright. Okay, so Tokia has 2 with her, Ren has 1, Masato has 1, Cecil has 2 with her, Sho has 1, Otia has 2, and Natsuki has 1. Yeah, that's 10. The boys just stood there for a minute. Then they started congratulating each other because they each ended up with at least 1 child. No one was left out. Thank fuck. They laughed and hugged. Each of them took a turn kissing Haruka. Awkward. When they each went to their children, Haruka saw their faces light up. Tokyo was smiling wider than she had ever seen before. Ren looked like he was about to melt into a puddle of love. Masato looked scared out of his mind, but still somehow happy. Cecil was beaming genuinely for the first time since his father's passing. Sho was already using baby talk. Otia was laughing as his son burbled something, and Natsuki just stood there, cradling his daughter like she was the most precious thing in the universe. What are we going to name them? Haruka asked as Tokia gently handed her their firstborn. Tokia gazed down at the pair lovingly as he held his other daughter. I was thinking about Minako for the pink-haired girl because she has her mother's beauty, and Utau for this little one since she has strong lungs. I could tell by her cries. I mean, okay. Some of these names, I don't know, man. You could pick prettier sounding names. Haruka smiled down at the pink-haired, golden-eyed baby in her arms. Hello, Minako. This is your mommy speaking. I've been waiting a long time to meet you and your siblings. Now I can be together with you and your sister, Utau. The blue-haired girl in Tokia's arms blinked at her with the same amber eyes. I want to name our son Kiyoshi because he has your pure eyes, lady, Ren added softly as he gently rocked their son. The little boy had honey-colored eyes and Ren's golden brown hair. Well, I would say just more orange, but okay. Masato looked down at his daughter. I've always been partial to the name Ayane, he murmured. His pink-haired princess had been staring at him with identical deep blue eyes, as if waiting. When he announced her name, she burbled happily and giggled. Everyone would later swear that he had melted on the spot. Masato always said that a samurai does not melt. Honestly, bruh, these babies probably are not that cute, because low-key, not gonna lie, babies don't get cute till they're like 6 months old. Newborn babies are like kind of ugly. They're not cute. Like, obviously, of course, like, if you're the parent of the kid that was just born, obviously you're gonna think they're, like, the cutest thing in the world, even though, like, they're probably just, like, ugly, because they look like old, wrinkly people slash aliens. And I don't know, I haven't really seen too many cute newborns. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, babies only get super cute, like start getting super cute when they're like really chubby and fat and have lots of rolls and they're like 6 months old. That's when they're cute. And then little kids stop being cute when they're like 6 or 7, and then they just start being annoying little kids if they're, yeah. I'm ranting. But yeah, kids stop being cute after a certain age, and then they turn into preteens, and then they turn into teenagers, and then they turn into young adults, and then they have their own little gremlins as well, and the cycle just starts and continues till forever, till the end of time. Anyway, Cecil watched his identical twin boys wiggled around in their bassinets. Haruka, help me name our little boys, he requested. Haruka pondered this for a moment. What about Akio for one of them, with the kanji for hero, and Hibiki for the other, using the kanji for sound? Those are so random. Cecil swept Akio up, twirling him slowly. You see the wonderful names your mama has picked out for you? Akio, our little warrior, and Hibiki, the musician. I can see it now. Akio just looked at him, but Hibiki giggled along with his father. Both of them were the spitting image of Cecil, of course. Sho decided to name his daughter Miku. Oh my god. Fucking Hatsune Miku. Our Lord and Savior. He insisted it had nothing to do with his love of Vocaloid, but he just loved the name since it meant beautiful generation. Miku had pinkish hair with streaks of blonde mixed in, and she had her father's cerulean orbs, because this author knows how much I love when they use the word orbs instead of eyes. Ultia named his daughter Ami, as she looked like one of Haruka's favorite anime characters, Sailor Chibi Moon, since the little girl had pink hair and ruby like Chibiusa. Their son had thick red hair and bright golden eyes, so he was named Hikaru, not to be confused with any other guy named Hikaru. Natsuki was still cradling his daughter to his chest. You are my heart, my soul, my beautiful little Kokoro. Oh my god. He told her gently. The little blonde baby had heterochromia. One eye was bright amber and the other shone like an emerald. Haruka found it adorable and special. Heterochromia is pretty cool. And I say that because my dog has heterochromia. One of her eyes is blue and one is like a hazel. Looking around the room, she gazed lovingly at her new family. She watched as they all interacted with the babies. The boys paid attention to every baby, not really caring if it was theirs. She could get used to this, she thought, as she cradled Minako still. Her family, her babies, her love. Everything was all right. Everything would be all right. They were together. They were her home, her heart, her everything. All right, we are at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to read the epilogue. Hopefully this shit doesn't take that much longer, and then we are finished. So this is the epilogue. So let's go. It's just titled Epilogue. The first night home was the hardest. After returning from the hospital, the new parents had finished opening the baby shower gifts. Plenty of clothes, including traditional wear from Masaomi and Noriko. Bottles, pacifiers, toys, bibs, and other trinkets now littered the family room, along with an assortment of wrapping paper scraps and empty gift bags. After dozens of thank you phone calls, the exhausted adults managed to get all the babies upstairs, and they were in the nursery. Haruka, Tokia, and Ultia were putting the babies into pajamas after Cecil, Natsuki, and Masato changed their diapers. Haruka was weary from breastfeeding earlier. Yeah, what the fuck. She couldn't imagine that she now had to do it every day, multiple times per day, for 10 fussy babies. Yeah, I don't think that would be possible, unless her boobs are, like, massively huge now. And she got milk in there for 10 babies more than once a time, like, more than once per day. Shit. Once the little ones had been put into onesies, Ren and Sho picked them up and gently placed them in their cribs. It seemed that once genders were known, Shining Hand had someone put the right bedding in the cribs. Who cares? We don't care about gender norms here. Just because the two were gently placing the babies didn't mean the babies were cooperating. Ren was currently holding Akio, and the little prince just flat out refused to be put down. Every time Ren lowered the baby toward the mattress, walls of protest stopped him short. Sho was having a similar problem with Minako. The tiny carbon copy of Haruka was not happy, and she let everyone know. She thrashed around, putting Sho on edge. Eventually, he was able to put her down on the pale lavender sheet safely, but she still cried, and it took everyone's willpower not to pick her up again. After another hour of struggling, all the babies were in their respective cribs, and the adults were almost crying in relief that they were all asleep. Then they heard a small whimper, and they all waited with bated breath, but thankfully the babies did not wake. Haruka collapsed on their bed as soon as she put on her pajamas. She was still worn out from giving birth yesterday, but she had a feeling the fun was only beginning. Sure enough, someone started whimpering over the baby monitor sometime after midnight, and as soon as the one started wailing, the others woke up crying as well. Natsuki was usually a very heavy sleeper, like the dead, but he bolted upright with the others when tiny cries came from the adjoining room. Haruka scurried into the room, trying to figure out what they needed. Ow. The 8 finally found that Kiyoshi was the one who had started crying because he was hungry again. Haruka scooped her son up, careful to support his tiny head, and she rocked him in her arms for a minute as she went over to the rocking chair. Slipping down one of the straps of her tank top, she bared her breast to the baby, who immediately latched on. Bitch, why are you wearing a tank top in the first place? I don't know, don't wear anything. Because I know, again, I've never had children, but I know that shit, it fucking hurts. How would you survive? I would be dreading this shit. Oh my god, 10 fucking children? No. When she was done, she was careful to grab a burping cloth before she began patting him on the back. When she finished with her oldest son, she fed the others. She eventually realized she should be feeding them 2 at a time, and the guys helped her through the night. It was very late, or very early, when they finished taking care of the new arrivals and could finally curl up in bed again. Unfortunately, more cries woke them shortly before sunrise. The next morning brought unwelcome news. The front pages of all the newspapers were raving about the babies. Not only was it a world record for one woman to give birth to 10 children at once, but they were celebrities, heirs, and nobles too. Shining gathered them shortly after breakfast so they could work on a game plan. 2 days later, Stars held a press conference. The guys really wanted to be home with Haruka, but they had to address this topic before it festered and became too wild. Luckily, Quartetai and even Heavens were at the manor helping Haruka out. So what you are saying is that all of Starish and Mrs. Ajima are currently engaged in a polyamorous relationship? One news reporter tried to confirm. Yes, Tokyo replied too calmly. We were all in love with our composer, and her children are all of ours. The press had a field day, and the results were mixed for a while. Many people sent them well wishes. Others told them that they were going to hell. Though no one dared to insult Haruka after the first person who tried was almost killed on the spot by glares. Do they even believe in hell? Some of the fangirls expressed their displeasure about them all being taken, but it soon died down because Starish wouldn't have happened without Haruka, so many fangirls began worshipping her. Haruka never got used to that one. The names and official bios of the babies came out soon after the press conference. Alright, let's go. Let's read this shit. Ichinose Minako, daughter of Ichinose Tokia, Hayato, and Queen Nanami, Ajima, Haruka. Heirs to the Ichinose family estate, granddaughter of Ichinose Rima, a renowned seiyuu, and Ichinose Nakihiko, the choreographer who brought us Madame Butterfly Knights of old. Interesting. Ichinose Utau, second daughter of Ichinose Tokia and Nanami Haruka, joint heiress with her fraternal twin sister. She and her sister are the goddaughters of Kotoku Kireiji. Jinguji Kyoshi, son of Jinguji Ren and Nanami Haruka, one heir to the Jinguji conglomerate. He is the godson of the popular rock artist Kaito, Nanami Kaito. Wait, okay, anyway. And his fiancée, Kurosaki Damaru, who is an edgy rocker. Wasn't gay marriage, illegal in Japan? So, I don't know. I guess they could still be just fiancés, but yeah. I know it's fanfic, but still. Hijirikawa Ayane, daughter of Hijirikawa Masato and Nanami Haruka, one heir to the Hijirikawa conglomerate, the goddaughter of Mikado Nagi of Heavens, and his fiance Hijirikawa Mai. Well, actually, she would be the niece, but whatever. Ijima Aiko, elder son of Ijima Cecil and Nanami Haruka, crown prince of Ignapolis, the older of the identical princes. Well, he would be the heir, I guess. Ijima Hibiki, second son of Ijima Cecil and Nanami Haruka, prince of Ignapolis. He and his twin are the godsons of Count Kami of Permafrost. Lol. Kurusumiku, daughter of Kurususho, and Nanmi Haruka, granddaughter of Kurusuyuki, the famous orchestra violinist, and Kurusu Kaname, the head stylist for New Style Industries, goddaughter of Hyuga Ryoya, because, of course, Hyuga Sensei, Itoki Ami, the elder child of Itoki Otaya and Nanmi Haruka, granddaughter of Shining Sultimate and former Queen Aijima Kotomi, goddaughter of world-class idol Shibuya Tomochika and her future husband Nanami Kei, Nanami Haruka's brother. Okay, I don't know if they would all list this shit, but okay. Itoki Hikaru, son of Itoki Otaya and Nanami Haruka. See Itoki Ami for more information and heir to Ultimate Entertainment and its affiliates. Shinomiya Kokoro, daughter of Shinomiya Natsuki Nanami Haruka, Viscountess of Salt, France, goddaughter of Mikaze Ai of Courts at Night. LOL. I'm adding all the LOLs and shit. The newspapers were running the breaking news on the famous unconventional family for a long while, and the public couldn't get enough of the drama or the cuteness. Yeah. Days turned to weeks, and the young family began to fall into a routine. Eventually, they worked out a system where Haruka and one of them were pulling night duty, while the others slept in spare rooms downstairs. This went on until the babies could have formula, during which time Haruka entered the cycle with the boys to sleep downstairs, and then she would only have to breastfeed during the day. Unfortunately, Haruka was still rarely able to catch a break, so twice a month, the extended family would come by and take care of the babies so the parents could go out on their own. Miki even managed to come by with Ringo when the babies were 3 months old. How nice. Shortly after the birth, Shining had come to visit the grandchildren, and he came with some paperwork. Here, he said as he passed manila folder to Haruka, I have been in contact with the Prime Minister in regards to your unusual situation. And after some negotiation, I managed to procure this for you guys. Think of it as another token of my gratitude for expanding my family. Haruka pulled the papers out, and her amber eyes scanned the papers quickly. Her jaw dropped. This is a marriage license, Shining agreed with a nod. You are now legally able to marry the other 6 members of Starish. Oh, finally. Haruka hugged her soon-to-be father-in-law with tears in her eyes. Thank you. Soon after the visit from Shining, Starish had another concert. This one included all of the songs Haruka had composed while she was pregnant, and when the concert was over, the guys made an announcement. Jesus Christ, man. How many fucking songs did she write? We would like to invite our lovely girlfriend up to the stage now, Ren purred, making the fangirls squeal. LOL. I like how they're like, she's just our girlfriend. She's not even like your fiance. But alright. Cecil picked up where Ren left off. Please give a warm welcome to Nanami Haruka, our beloved composer and the mother of our children. The crowd erupted in cheers as to, oh, okay, they're not engaged yet. Never mind. I read ahead a little bit. They erupted in cheers as Soki Elder and as the elder on stage. Haruka was blushing like crazy as all 7 guys knelt before her and asked in unison, Nanami Haruka, will you marry us? Why is Cecil Bell doing this? He's already married to her. Haruka started crying. Tears of joy as she nodded. The crowd went wild as the fans shouted their congratulations to the lovers. Yeah, and you know, like, some of them are secretly planning revenge because this is idol culture, man. Okay, the wedding was a grand event. Oh god. Nothing less was to be expected when so many people in the family were internationally famous idols and celebrities. The guest list included friends, family, and business associates. Cecil completed the ceremony with Haruka as well, even though they were already legally married, but this time it felt real. They had a 7-tiered cake with white buttercream icing and raspberry filling. Ooh. The decorations on each tier represented one of the boys, and the top was for Haruka. Her dress was a light, creamy white color with a sweetheart neckline and an empire waist that emphasized her sizable bust without featuring her stomach, which still had some baby fat from 4 months prior. Well, who gives a fuck? Each spouse had a silver band with Starish inscribed in the ring and a small gem of their signature color set in the band. Haruka's ring was similar, but she had a large diamond set with 2 smaller ones on either side. The honeymoon was shortened to a weekend, considering the babies. All the newlyweds' mothers stayed at the manor over to take care of babies, while Starish and their wife went on a short trip to nearby an island that Shining owned. See, polygamy is a man with multiple wives, and then polyandry is a woman with multiple husbands. So they're in a polyandry relationship. So they are brother husbands now. Da, 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 da. So 2.5 days of relaxation, but it'd been better if the newlyweds could relax. But as with most new parents, worry over the babies left them eager to be home. Time passed slowly at first, and then much too quickly. Excuse me. As the babies began crawling, the boys felt like time was slipping away. Cecil had been doubly busy trying to help Miki out with diplomacy while keeping up with stars, and working as Seiyuu for a new Ultimate game that would be coming out. Interesting. Ultia had been requested to do a TV drama, so he was often out of the house filming. Sho was doing a play with Ren at the Tokyo Performing Arts Hall, and Haruka made sure she was able to catch one performance. Tokyo had been working on a solo album at the request of the agency, and Natsuki was doing seiyuu work with Masato. They were able to do it from home, mostly thanks to the recording studios in Amanda. One night, when the babies were almost 9 months, Haruka was in the playroom with Tokyo, Natsuki, and Masato. As she sat with Ayane, the little girl stared up at her mother with inquisitive eyes. "Mama," she announced as she pulled on Haruka's skirt. The 4 parents paused what they were doing to stare at the little pinkette. "Mama," she repeated as they watched her. Oh shit. Masato and the other 2 dads broke out into wide grins as their daughter said her first word. Haruka picked up the little angel and twirled her around. "That's right, Aya-chan. Mama is here. Oh, you are so cute," Haruka giggled. My fucking Haruka voice, bro. Wait, whose child is Ayane? I don't remember whose fucking child this is. Hold on. Oh, it's Masato's daughter. Okay. I couldn't remember whose child this was because there's so fucking many of them. Ayana giggled back as she was spun around. Ren came in soon afterward with Sho just behind him. They were overjoyed as well to hear about Ayane talking. Across the room from his playpen, Kiyoshi started whining. I'm losing my place, guys. Hold on. Ren walked over to his son and scooped up the little golden-eyed infant. Well, he's not an infant if he's 9 months old. I don't think. Wait. Oh, I guess it could be from birth to 1-year-old. Okay, well, whatever. I guess he is an infant. They're infants, whatever. Again, I don't have children, so I don't know this shit. Otosa, he insisted from his father's arms. Ren looked at Kiyoshi in surprise. What was that? He asked, not really expecting a response. Kiyoshi looked right at him. Otosa! Everyone looked at the little boy. He's trying to say Otosan, Ren murmured in glee. He bounced Kiyoshi on his hip. I'd say you're a daddy's boy, but Otia is daddy. Ren laughed as he handed his son to his wife. What? Oh. Everyone had agreed that the boys should not all be called dad or daddy because it would get too confusing. Well, shit. Okay, now they each gotta have a damn title. Ren is Otosan. Otia is daddy. Tokia is dad. Poor Tokia. He just gets dad. Cecil is Baba, Masato is father, Sho is Papa, and Natsuki is Otochan. Author's note, I realize that Otochan and Otosan are the equivalent of daddy and dad, but please just go with that. I ran out of titles. Just use other languages. Why couldn't you have Natsuki be whatever father is in, like, French or whatever? Could have done that. Okay, soon enough, all the kids had begun talking, and some were even beginning to walk by the time they reached their first birthday. When September had rolled around, the manor entryway was flooded with presents for the 10 toddlers. On the actual day, all of Stars made sure to clear their schedules. The entire family was there to celebrate. Kaito and Namaru were present and now married. Congratulations to them. Keiso with Tomochika, who was currently expecting one of her own. Congratulations. Maya and Nagi were also among the married couples. Congratulations. And Dingo and Miki would be joining them soon. Jesus Christ, everybody is getting married. Or having babies. That's right. Dingo had popped the question a few weeks prior, and the citizens of Agnopolis were more than happy to arrange the grand event. The grandparents were sure to shower their legacies with love and attention. Even Masaomi was caught baby talking to Ayane and Hikaru. The party was hectic, but the family was all together again. 3 months later, Tomochika gave birth to a little boy named Mori. He got Kei's eyes and Tomochika's fiery red hair. As time continued passing, Mori began playing with the 10, and by the time the kids reached the age of 2, the little group almost refused to let Mori leave when their playdates were over. At the kid's second birthday, Haruka was 6 months pregnant. Wait, how? Okay, so the one thing that they need to explain, or I guess doesn't need explanation, because whatever, it's a fanfic, but still, it makes no sense. Okay, so then, like, after they get married, or like after like she's kind of like okay after she gives birth to these fucking 10 children, so does she like do they get alone time with her, each of them? Like, how does this shit work? Did they decide who gets to like sleep with her and then like who gets to have the next child with her? I don't understand. It's very confusing. During her second pregnancy, things were a lot easier since she was only expecting twins. Shortly before she gave birth for the second time, Kaito and Ranmaru adopted a little boy who they named Ayato. The little boy had dark green hair and silver eyes that seemed to stare right through whoever they are aimed at. Damn. Excuse me. Ayato was 2 when they adopted, so he was quickly brought into the group of toddlers. Ranmaru was nervous about having children at first, but a few months into parenting, he was already spoiling his son. That's the power of rock and roll, man. Kaito leaned against his lover as they watched Ayato play with Ami and Hibiki before whispering, "We really do have the best family." With that, he turned and gave the silver-haired man a quick peck on the lips before returning to watch the amazing scene before them. Haruka's twins were identical little boys who were the spitting image of their father. With dark blue hair and light blue eyes, they were the spitting image of Tokia as a baby. Rima still loves to compare her grandsons to pictures of her boys as babies. Ikuto had been Tokia's fraternal twin, but they both had the same dark blue locks. In honor of his late brother, Tokia asked Haruka if they could name one of the boys Ikuto. Haruka had readily agreed, and so when the baby boys were born, they were named Hayato and Ikuto. Of course they were, respectively. Haruka went into labor with them just before midnight on New Year's Eve, and Hayato was born at 11:57 p.m. that night, and Ikuto was born at 12:02 a.m. of the next day/year. Ringo and Miki joined in becoming parents just after Haruka had the twins. Shit, everyone's getting busy as fuck, dude. That's crazy. Everyone is just having alone time with each other. Miki gave birth to a little girl named Kokone. She was born with beautiful mocha skin, light pink hair, and wide cocoa-colored eyes. From the first time she met him, Kokone became very attached to Kiyoshi despite the age difference and how infrequently they got to see each other. The crush is still going strong today. That's kind of fucking weird because Kiyoshi's mom, his mom is, so he's half siblings with Kokone's cousins. I mean, I guess they're not related technically, but still. Okay, well, whatever. Through the years, the family continued expanding rapidly. Following the twins, Haruka gave birth to a little princess named Kimiko. Like her older brothers, Kimiko got her father's brown hair, but she has her mother's beautiful eyes. Golden eyes. Coincidentally, she was born on Emperor's Day, 4/29, hence her name meaning Empress. Okay, so that's her and Cecil. Ulteo was the next to have another child with Haruka. Itoki Kazuki was born on April 12th, almost 1 year after Kimiko's birth. The little boy was like a carbon copy of Ulteo, and he was just as boisterous. After Kazuki's birth, the family took vacation to their home in California for the second time since it was built. Oh yeah, I forgot that they made a house in California earlier in the fanfic. The house is lovely, but traveling with small children is a tough task, even when there are as many parents as the Nanami children, as the press refers to them collectively, have. After Kokoro almost burned the house down with Natsuki, the family had headed home. Oh my god. By the time the oldest 10 were 15, they had gotten 10 additional siblings. Oh my god. She's had 20 children pass through her birth canal. My god. 3 years after Kutsuki, the first of 6 more children were born. God, give this woman a break. Rensutter Hoshine was born on Valentine's Day, just like her Otho-san. She had her mother's pretty pink locks and her father's piercing blue eyes. Hoshi has Ren wrapped completely around her finger, and she loves to be the center of attention whenever possible, of course. The following year, Hijinikawa Satoru entered the world during the dawn of Children's Day, May 5th. His full sister, Yumemi, is his Irish twin, since she was born less than a year after him on the day of the Dolls Festival, March 3rd. Both had Masa's rich blue hair. While Satoru had the sun in his eyes, Yumemi's were blue like the sea. Haruka didn't get a break there, though. On Christmas the same year Yumemi was born, she gave birth to a premature baby boy. Natsuki named him Kisuki since the baby survived and was their Christmas miracle. Kisuki has pink hair, which he finds embarrassing, and eyes as green as emeralds. Sho finally got another child with Haruka when they had a son named Ryu. Ryu was born 2 years following Kisuki, but with a weak heart like Sho. He has his father's appearance, and he is a fighter, so he never let that slow him down in life. Uncle Kaoru, a cardiologist, has been helping him since he was born. Excuse me. The last child Haruka gave birth to was Tsubomi. Haruka and Tokia's. Damn, she's had so many kids with Tokia. If that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what does. She was born in September, like her oldest siblings, of course. September is the best month to have a birthday. But her birthday is on the 20th, a date that was very fitting since she was the 20th and final child in the family. Tsubomi was born prematurely like Kisuki, and the doctors thought that it would be best for Haruka to stop having children. Yeah. After 10, she should have stopped, but okay. Even though she was premature and tiny, she pulled through, and Tokia has been pampering her ever since she got home from the hospital. His tiny little princess has been wrapped around her chubby little pinky. Now the tense of the tense of this fanfic has changed to like present tense. And I do struggle with that too, but yeah. Somewhere in all the chaos of the Nanami children, Tomochika had given birth to her and Kei's second child. This time it was a little girl named Atsumi, a little spitfire with wavy purple hair and her mother's eyes. Besides them, Maya and Nagi had a son. Had a son. The little brunette has his mother's eyes, pretty blue eyes. Okay, they typo. And was named Mikado Yaten. Okay. Transition. Okay, this is the last part, I think. Okay. Last stretch of time here, guys. Today's the day, right, Tokia? Ichi asks as the two are finishing up on the set of a TV show. Why is he talking to this bitch? Tokia flashed his co-worker a rare grin as he affirmed, today's the day. Across town, Tadase and Natsuki were standing in an empty concert hall, looking out at the seats. It's really happening, Natsuki said proudly. They earned this, Tadase added. In the control room behind the scenes, Shining stood with his son. Today's the day we have been waiting for, Oteya said nervously as he wrung his hands. Today is the day they will rise, Shining assured. Hold on. Sorry, I gotta do my Shining impression. Today is the day they will rise, Shining assured him as he placed an arm around Oteya's shoulders. So did Shining and Kotomi get back together? Was he like, hey girl, I know your husband like just died, but you wanna maybe start our romance again? I bet that's what happened. Back in the manor, Haruka was taking care of some of her younger children as they ran around the house. Ren and Sasa were there to help with the toddler wrangling. When they got all of the kids under 10 were properly dressed, the three parents led the 10 younger kids out to the waiting limo. Come now, Haruka urged her kids. We don't want to be late to this. Tsubomi sat in her car seat. Her light purple hair was pulled into pigtails and with blue ribbons to complement her eyes. Beside her, Kisuki and Satoru were playing well. Every time I read Satoru, I just think of Gojo. They were playing with their stuffed animals and action figures, while Kazuki and their twins played on their Game Boys. Wait, what kind of Game Boys? Like, Game Boy Color? Because, like, bro, this isn't the future. I don't know if they still make that shit. Yumemi had entered the why phase, and now she wanted to know why everything was the way it was. Ryu was playing... just played with his own plush toy from his own car seat. As the limo pulled out of the driveway, Haruka held back tears, feeling like everything was simultaneously ending and just beginning. Sho and Masato were already waiting at the concert hall when the rest of their family arrived. The show would begin soon. Today was the day they had all been waiting for, the day Shining had waited 16 years for. The large group headed backstage to see Tokia, Natsuki, and Otea waiting in the dressing room. Are they already waiting to go on? Says Last in surprise as he looked around. God, this is like the Harry Potter epilogue of like, wow, you can see everyone, they all look old. Kokoro popped her head into the dressing room when she heard voices. Mom! She grinned, rushing up to her mom and pulling her in for a tight hug. I'm so excited. We've been waiting for this day for so long. Akio and I really went all in for the composing, and I can't wait to see how they do. Then she looked at her father's. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just like every episode of Utapri, where they gotta say her name, all the nicknames. Hi, Dad, Daddy, Oto-chan, Oto-san, Papa, Baba. Oh, Father, Grandfather was looking for you. He is with Aunt Mai in that group. She'll be near the front row. Oh, and if you guys are looking for the others, Poppy, Shining. Oh, that's what they call Shining. That's hilarious. Is giving them a last-minute pep talk, and Akio is flirting with one of the choreographers. Ow, my nose. The adults tried to keep up with her super fast talking. Masato left to find Masaomi, and Haruka went to get the kids situated before the show began. Normally, Tsuomi would make a fuss, but she seemed to understand that today something very special would be happening. Tokia took a seat with the kids a little while later, so Haruka went to find her older children. Excuse me. She found them standing beside the curtains. Shining was still there, but now the teens were talking amongst themselves. Haruka cleared her throat and they turned to look at their mom. I'm so very proud of you guys. You've been working hard for this day, so I want you to go out there and knock their socks off. The 8 performers mobbed Haruka for a group hug. Off to the side, their composers, Kokoro and Akio, were grinning widely. Eventually, the kids pulled back and took their places on the darkened stage. They waved as Kokoro and Akio left with the others to take their seats. After a few minutes, the curtains began to rise, revealing the massive crowd that was waiting for them to start. A hush spread through the amphitheater. The Nanami kids managed to see their family, the whole big, messy, wonderful combination of people that raised them and grew up with them. Kiyoshi saw Kokone, and he thought back to the last time he saw her. Flashback. God, we're having a flashback? This is the end of the story. Why do we have a flashback? Kiyoshi was kind of bored. He was sitting alone in the garden, practicing his saxophone playing. But he wanted to do something else. Suddenly he looked up when his son was blocked, only to find a very familiar girl standing in front of him. What do you want, Kokone? He tried, and failed not to sound annoyed. Kokone gave him a pouty look as she tossed her pretty pink hair over her shoulder. I just wanted to, wish you luck. You know, for the concert coming up. I should be able to be there, but I might not get a chance to say this when the time comes. Anyway, I'll just leave now. I should be going anyway. Got a plane to catch and all. Yoshi knew that wasn't really true since the plane would wait for her, and he felt guilty about being rude. Unfortunately, he hesitated for too long. Kokone was gone when he looked up again. End flashback. Interesting. Now as he looked out of the crowd, he found Kokone watching him. So he winked, making her blush and causing his Aunt Miki to glare at him. Okay. That just made the boy give a cocky smile. Ren felt a surge of pride. This boy was definitely his. Yeah, I fucking hope so. To Kiyoshi's right, Ami was having a telepathic conversation with Hikaru. The two of them were giving each other looks as if to say, can you believe how many people are here? To which he conveyed, I'm getting stage fright. Ami glared at him at first, but then gave him a sympathetic look. She understood what he must be feeling. They had never performed in front of such a crowd before, and she knew from experience that imagining people in their underwear only made things weirder. She shuddered as she remembered that one class project. Never again. Miku watched Minako closely. The two pink-haired girls had always been close, and now they would be putting all of their hard work to the test. Tonight would make it or break it for them, and Miku could see Mina's hands shaking as the curtain moved. She briefly remembered a few days ago when Kazuki had burst into the music room when Minako had finished playing a piece on the piano. The 11-year-old had appeared so suddenly that the girl had screamed and dropped all of her sheet music. Miku had laughed as her two siblings scrambled to pick up the sheets again. They were later joined by Satoru as he came into practice as well. He just looks like, I'm just imagining a little mini Gojo, little kid Gojo. The kid may be young, but he is as serious as their father. Miku sighed as she spotted him sitting next to Yumemi in the crowd. While the little girl was grinning from ear to ear in excitement, he looked nervous beyond belief, which she found humorous considering she was on stage, not him. When Satoru caught his big sister staring at him, he forced a grin and gave a nervous thumbs up before turning to see how Ayane was staring. The eldest grandchild of Hijigawa Masaomi looked right at ease on the stage. Satoru couldn't help but think that his One-chan had been born for this, little did he know. Meanwhile, Kimiko was focused on Hibiki. Her easygoing Oni-chan still looked like a grinning idiot. She knew that he was much better suited for performing than Akio, but it saddened her slightly that the identical princess couldn't be on stage together. Looking down the row, she saw Akio looking nervous. He may not be performing. The songs were as much his as they were Kokoro's, and they would be unveiled publicly for the first time. He had to be anxious to see if he could prove himself to be as good as their mother. Finally, the spotlights came on, and in the front center stage was Utahu. Her spiky blue hair was clipped up in a messy bun and left her bangs to frame her pretty face. She clutched the mic stand as everyone held their breath. Her sharp amber eyes stared out into the audience like a jolt of electricity, so similar and yet so different from Haruka's warm honey gaze. She flashed a wicked grin. She looked like she was ready to rock in her white jean shorts, her black lace-up boots, and her purple camisole that showed under the white jacket. The 15-year-old girl opened her mouth and whispered, "Are you ready?" And that's the end. Yes, we finished, everybody. That is the conclusion of Utapri, The Next Generation by Rain Diamond on fanfiction.net, aka the greatest Utapri fanfic ever written in the history of forever. So there you have it, folks. There is the Utapri fanfic that changed my life. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful read-through of this fanfic. And let me know what your favorite part was, and how you would improve upon it. I think my big improvements for this, which obviously, like, there are several author's notes if you read the author's notes in the chapters, that this fanfic did help the author grow as a writer. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that they did grow as a writer while writing this fanfic. So, that's very impressive. I'm glad that they could take, constructive criticism. And again, I'm sure they're much better authors than they were in 2014 when this was written. So almost 10 years ago. Jesus Christ. Yeah, a lot can change. Your writing can change a lot in 10 years. So I definitely think, I'm sure they are a much better writer than writing fanfiction now than they were almost 10 years ago when they wrote this. But, again, you gotta start somewhere, and not everyone's first fanfic is gonna be, like, completely perfect. I don't think any piece of writing is completely perfect, unless it's been edited. Obviously, you wouldn't publish it if it's, like, an actual published work. And in terms of AO3, I feel like a lot of people really do take their time with their writing. I know I do, so, but that's just me. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this VOD, I hope you enjoyed reading or listening to it afterward. And hopefully we can read another crazy fanfic again. Maybe next time with another person in the room, we can have better banter. But I wasn't able to get any. I wasn't able to get Annie to listen in on this. But maybe next time we can read some crazy shit with her. That'll be fun. But I will figure out what we're going to do for the next episode. September is going to be a little weird, and so is October. September, in the middle of September, I'm going to be gone the 14th through the 18th because I am going to Disneyland for my birthday, which is September 16th. So I'll be gone on the 15th. And then in October, I am not going to be able to do a show Friday the 6th, 13th, or 20th. So we're probably going to have to do Thursday or Saturday nights. Or not Saturday, sorry. We're either gonna have to do Thursday or Sunday nights for that. I'm gonna have to figure out, like, maybe we'll just go on a hiatus for 3 Fridays, and then the 27th we'll come back. Maybe that'll be what we do, and that way I can also gather. Maybe we can plan something big for the 27th of October, something special. We'll have to see. I'll check with potential guests. Oh my gosh. I'm just sneezing and coughing and I think it's allergies, guys. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me once again. Leave your comments in the comment section below if you want to read the fanfic for yourself on your own time. Without my commentary and just read it yourself, I have a link to the first chapter in the description, so you can go to there and just start from the beginning. And of course, as always, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!